Yo, what up, Knicks Nation? We are back. We're back. You know, we're the reigning champs right now. We just won a championship, but the season ain't done, man. Now we move from the regular season, from the postseason to the off season, and what better way to start than with the NBA draft? And we got some picks in this one, so we got our draft experts here. We got Chris LeBron. We got Jeff Campbell with us here to break it all down for us, and then you got my guy CK2K and myself here just to be part of the vibes, man. Get the insight into who we should be drafted in this draft, man, and just get all that knowledge. That's all we're here for, man. That's all we're here for. So hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let's get into this, fellas. How y'all doing today? I see that CK gave us the opportunity to introduce his chair while he's gone, but. So CK's chair, I'm glad that you're doing well, but how you guys doing, man? How's everyone feeling?
Doing good, Alex, man. Draft day, excited. There's not that much stress this year with the draft.
Not
so
that much stress at all, man. Not that much stress at all. Especially when you win a championship, you re-sign Mo, all right, or that they're in the talks to, what the frameworks of the contract are. So that's all good. Jeff, how you feeling, man?
I'm pumped, man. I'm absolutely pumped. Excited to see what the trades look like tonight around the league. Heard a lot of rumors about Jaylen Brown, Trey Murphy, who knows, maybe John Morant on the move. From the Knicks land, we've heard some rumors regarding Deuce. Obviously, that would be tough, but I'm super pumped, like Chris said, to go into this situation very stress-free. We're champions. We're at the top of the world at this point. We're just looking to add to the culture and to already, finished products. So I'm straight.
Yeah, man. That's all we're trying to do. Just add to a finished product. And look, there's going to be some big offseason moves right now. As I just stated, Mo Diawara looks like he'll be returning. The question is, what's going to happen to Landry Shamet, Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson, guys like that? Even somebody like a Deuce McBride, do they trade him in the last year of his contract? That's all stuff that you got to think about replenishing if those guys are on the move. So hopefully the Knicks are able to address some of those areas if some of these guys are not returning. And then we got CK, man. CK, how you doing, bro? You gave us the chair introduction, but you back, man. You back.
It's been a wild 20 minutes in my household, man. The internet went in and out. I got in a fight with a Black Widow. True story.
What?
We're live. We're good, and guess what? We still champs. We still champs. So it's like, you know what I mean? The Nets down so bad they lost McHale and had to draft another one. We having a good time, man. We all having a good time. We're having a good time.
We are having a good time, man.
I agree with everything that's been said so far. Chris LeBron, Jeff, I hope you guys are ready to go because I am so out of the loop when it comes to the draft this time around. Normally, I at least know what's going on, but guys, I've been so focused on the Knicks, man, and this championship. You guys gonna have to carry today. I'm gonna be real with you. You're gonna have to carry today.
That's a fact, man. That's why we got these guys here, CK. That's why we got these guys here to carry us for this draft knowledge, man. That's why they're here today. And look, if I'm about to be honest, CK, since you're talking about fighting a Black Widow, I was locked out of my computer for a good 5 minutes.
Damn.
Not by my own doing, but my cat. I'm not talking about Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm talking about my own cat. He wanted the box of treats. Not gonna show what the box, thing is, but he wanted the box of treats. He was trying to push it over. But hey, we here, man. We're here to talk about it. We're here to break down this draft. So let's get into it. So far, let's talk about some of these top picks, right? So we already had some selections occur. We have the Wizards, of course, taking AJ. Jazz taking Darren Peterson. Cam Boozer going to Memphis. Caleb Wilson going to the Chicago Bulls. We got Keaton Wagler going to the Clippers. Mikal Brown Jr. going to the Brooklyn Nets. Darius Acuff going to the Sacramento Kings. Jeff, I'm going to start out with you. How you feel about some of these selections so far?
So, I know there's a ton of mock drafts out there that, listen, how can you not love AJ DeBonsa? I mean, the size for this modern NBA, I mean, he's perfect. My honest opinion, the best player in this draft is Darren Peterson. That's just my point of view. I think what sets him apart is his mentality. When you hear this guy talk in interviews, to me, he has the type of personality. He presents himself in a way that is you're okay with him having the ball in the last minute of the game. And if I'm drafting number one, That's one of the criteria that I'm thinking about when I'm drafting that high in the draft. And that's no shade to AJ DeBonsa. You know, he could be an absolute talent for decades to come. But, you know, when you're looking across the margins, when you have two guys that are stacked up so closely together, that's my personal view. At the end of the day, most people knew that the Wizards were going to go with DeBonsa. Also gives them a little bit of coverage if contract negotiations go sideways with AD. You know, and after that, everything was pretty much chalk. But you know, before the Mikal Brown Jr. selection from the Nets. But besides that, everything pretty much has been going according to plan.
All right, Chris, gotta go with you, man. What do you think about this draft selection so far?
It was chalk until the Nets ruined it. I had
The Nets ruined it.
The Nets ruined the chalk.
No
Um,
way.
I thought it was I thought Acuff was like run. Because I did my podcast earlier and I said if Acuff is there at 6, the Nets should be really literally just running to the podium and be like Acuff, and they didn't. So you know, I don't know. That's the one that kind of I'm very high on Acuff. I think Acuff is the best point guard in this draft. So I thought if you're Brooklyn, even though they took 87 point guards last year, he's by far the best prospect out of these 2 years. They took all the point guards. I don't know. I you know, not that I don't like Mikal Brown, but to me, Acuff I think has all-star level potential, and Mikal Brown still has. I'm still iffy about him a little bit, but yeah, that's the only one that I was really like. But it's the Nets, so what are you gonna do?
So I gotta ask: is it Acuff just because he's been getting a lot of Brunson Cobbs? What is it for you about Acuff?
Nah, it's just been all year, and then he's just a bulldog, man. Like he has the frame. That's why you get a lot of Stephon Marbury comps because he looks like Stephon Marbury. Like he's just yoked up. He's strong, 3-level type of scorer, like a lethal scorer in the SEC. Like just take over. That's the way he moves, just off the dribble, off the catch. He's probably the best lob passer in the draft. Like he throws a good lob. Like I know that may not sound like crazy, but he throws a really good lob. The defense is probably a concern, and he doesn't play off ball, maybe like Mikal can, but I just think he's dying. His offense to me is just so good, so much better than any other of the point guards that I would have taken the chance. But, you know, he's special, man. He really is. He just takes over. And as we've seen, there are guards that can be, you know, lead teams to championships. You know, we kind of saw one, just do it. So, you know, I think that was a lot of concern for a lot of people, but I don't know. That's not a concern for me. I just think he's a special player, and hopefully, you know, if you're Sacramento, you just can't believe what just happened because that was their target, and they didn't have to trade up to get him. So you keep your assets, and you get maybe one of your top players on your board at 7. That's a win. So yeah, like, good job for Sacramento. They haven't done a lot of good things in a while. So they feel like this maybe changes, you know, maybe this could change their fortune going forward.
I'll believe it when I see it, man. When it comes to Sacramento, I'll believe it when I see it. Right. But Chris, just check your mic real quick. Make sure it's the actual mic, because just make sure that's your actual mic. It sounds like it's coming from your laptop. Just double check that. So, Jeff, do you feel the same way about Acuff as a guard?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with Chris on that for sure. You know, the one thing you always look at when it comes to this day and age with the NBA with guards is if they're a little bit more of a slasher, like how do they do in terms of finishing through traffic? Obviously, you know, transitioning from college to the NBA, it's going to be difficult. But this guy, like Chris says, he has the size, he has the strength to continue to do that. And you know, as defenses get more difficult in crunch time minutes, you've got to have somebody who can create their own shot, who can beat somebody off the dribble, who can finish through traffic. Acuff is that guy, and I definitely think he was the pick there at 6. You know, and obviously the Nets felt that, you know, Mikal Brown had maybe different skill set that suited their roster better. You know, I'm not 100% sure there, but if you're the Kings, you have to be super happy with your entire organization being in flux that you get a talent like that basically dropped into your lap.
All right, there you have it, people, about Darius Acuff. been getting a lot of comps. As LeBron said, kind of is built like Stephon Marbury, but I've been hearing a lot of Brunson comps because of the strength too and how he likes to bully inside the paint. Atlanta just made a pick. They chose Kingston Flemings. The Hawks got that pick from New Orleans. They get a guard. Jeff, going right back to you. How do you feel about Kingston?
I mean, you gotta like a lot of picks that come out of Houston. You know, they typically have really good fundamentals. Kingston Fleming definitely excites. I think it's a great pick. I think what you see with the majority of this top half of the draft is most of it is going kind of chalk at the point right now. But in comparison to what else is there, I don't, a lot of people are going to say, maybe you can go Nate Ament, who's had like a ton of variability. I've seen some mock drafts have him top 10, some have him, back in the 20s. But I think Kingston Fleming is a very solid pick here. I do think, there's a chance maybe you could have gotten Braden Burries here as well. But no major issues I have really with, Kingston Fleming picked here.
What about you, Chris?
Can you hear me good, Tom?
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
That's
there
crispy.
There we go. The settings are off on this. Oh, Kingston Flemings. He was behind Acuff. He was my second best point guard. He's a special scorer, and another guy that just got better and better. Like he was a 5-star, but he was the second heralded 5-star out of Houston. It was Chris Sinak was like the top. He was a top 5 to 10 guy coming out of high school, but he just got better and better. He's just a bucket, can score at all 3 levels. Loves the midi. So he's a good one. He's a solid passer, but when you watch him play, you just like this kid's going to be good. He just can just do everything with the ball in his hand. Solid defensive player, not great, but solid. Has good good fundamentals. But yeah, a good pick for Atlanta. Like I mocked him to Atlanta. I would be perfect, but like I said, the Nets ruined it. Yeah, it would have been 8-8.
You're hating on the Nets, man. All good, man. You're hating the Nets.
I try to be fair with I try to be non-biased and stuff, but
that's so nice.
They messed it up, and I think it's gonna take a little longer for them to get better. But yeah, Kingston Flemings is good. Like to get a player like this at 8 is insane. Like the value of this. That's why this draft is so heralded, because you can get with the 8th pick, you can get your potential franchise, point guard there. So for Atlanta, I mean, it sucks we're gonna have to see them this year, but for them, that's a steal at 8, man.
I ain't worried about nobody, man. Knicks are the reigning champs.
Not a soul.
Take it. Yeah.
You got to love also the intangibles with Flemings as well. There's a couple guys that I think really separated themselves in interviews. Like you see a lot of reports coming out of the combine, different things like that. I heard he did really well there. So that's a big part of it as well. Like how are you going to mesh in a locker room, not just your talents on the court, but off as well. I mean, this kid is definitely going to make an impact at the next level for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll see how Atlanta fares with Kingston Flemings as their guard. That's definitely what they needed next to CJ. We saw that when they were competing. Let's see if they can help. Young guy, but we all know that some guards in general just take a little bit longer to develop, but we'll see what happens. While we're waiting for the Mavs pick to come in, man, and Shams, tweeting out here being all being all cute, saying, there might be a Wolverine going to Dallas. Let's talk about our Knicks for a second, man, because the Knicks do have a first-round pick this year at the 24th. It'll be the 24th selection, that is, right after Atlanta, right before the Lakers. CK, going to you, man. What do you think the Knicks should do with that pick? Do you believe they'll even take somebody with that pick?
Oh, man. That's always the fun question with like the 2020 and on, or even before that rendition of the Knicks, right? It's how we like to get cute with that late pick. Either we use it and then it turns like quickly or whoever, or we flip it into a gazillion other picks in future drafts. Like I said, I still know of players in this draft. I'm not completely out of the loop, but I'm not as in tune as I have been in previous draft shows that we do. So shout out to Chris LeBron, shout out to Jeff. You guys are the GOATs. But I do love, and you guys are gonna have to let me know if I'm just going for the flash. But I do love that our name has been circled around Isaiah. I if we are keeping the pick, and if he does land, we're in the world of now we develop our talent. Shout out to Big Mo D for getting that contract, because there's obviously some belief in the organization that there is going to be something there, and they're going to keep developing him. Yeah, I would love to go with Isaiah at that pick. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, saying that it's possible for him to be there. I'm not sure. I don't know. Again, this draft is all over the place because of the depth in this draft. But if I had a choice, I think that's where I would go with that, because his name has been circled, and I'm glad to hear that. But we don't know, bro. We don't know if we turn it into more picks. We don't know if Leon is trying to, add it to another player that needs to be cut off because we got to fit in this second apron and all that fun stuff. We don't know what's gonna happen, man. That's what the beauty of our front office has been when it comes to the NBA draft. They're like scientists at what they're gonna do with these late picks, these second rounders, to end up flipping and helping our money make sense with free agencies and other things that go on in the future. So if you're asking me if I think we're gonna keep the pick, I think we do. I don't think we get too cute, but what do I know? You know what I mean? What do I know?
We'll see what happens. Chris, how do you feel about if the Knicks select Isaiah Evans from Duke with their 24th pick?
I mean, that would be a great pick. Obviously, like CK said, we've been linked with him for a little bit, and me being a Duke fan, I watched a lot of Isaiah Evans, and there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows. It's like I talked to CP last time when we were talking about Isaiah Evans, and I'm like, it's like the J.R. Smith experience. There's going to be nights where he goes 7 of 8, and he got the guard and rocking, and then there's going to be nights where you're going to see 2 of 10, and everyone's booing and like, oh, why is he playing 30 minutes? So it's going to be like that. He's got the length, 6'6", got the long wingspan. Defensively, there's some upside there too. He played some solid defense. Him and Sarr at Duke, really did a good job on the perimeter, helping them out. It's just the streakiness. He's just a very streaky shooter, but he's confident. And he's one of those role players where the crowd's behind him, or he can really get hot, and he can really benefit from that emotion. So he's someone that's intriguing. We could use another wing, especially off the bench like that. He's a good movement shooter too. Can next to navigate through screens and stuff. So that'd be a little different than what we're used to, but that'll be ideal get for us. So he's a good player. He's a good player. He showed last year as a freshman, like he was really pressing a lot, and he really wanted to show. But it was hard for him to play with Cooper Flagg and Conca there. But he's someone that really showed out this year, and in big moments too. So, that would be a good pick at 24, because he gives you a lot of stuff you need, and got to get a little stronger. But that's like when people like talk about the strength stuff, I'm like, you're going to go a lot of these kids are 19, 20 years old. Right. Like, you still can grow. So like, I don't want to use that too much as like a weakness, so, quote unquote, but you got to get stronger. He will, the NBA level. He going to learn from OG. Look, he's going to be on the OG diet if he comes. He got yoked up. Like they said that about OG coming out too. Like a lot of guys get that, like, oh, they're too skinny. Giannis got that.
Bridges.
He got wiry strength, so like, you don't need him to be all yoked up, because then that's going to mess up his shot. And then it's like, all right, oh, well, he got yoked up and his shot's not good. So, good player, good movement shooter, good shooter period, can really get hot. And I think he could be someone off the bench that, can definitely help out.
And we got the Dallas Mavericks choosing somebody from Michigan, Morris Johnson Jr. So there you go. There you have it.
That's a guy the Knicks were linked to not even too long ago, Alex. Like, he was like projected mock to us in 20, but his combine, like, he really showed out. And he's one of those guys, like, it's not what was it? Look like Jane, whatever that compare. Look like Tarzan, play like Jane. It's not like that. Like, he looks like Tarzan, and he kind of plays like Tarzan. Like, he's just like I got my analogies, messed up, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I like that one. I like that one. No. Don't back.
We can go with that. We can go with that.
Yeah.
I like.
Wish
that.
It was a lot smoother, but yeah,
he's very plug and play, man. He's definitely plug and play. Like, he can help you right now, like 100%.
Okay,
he fits Dallas perfect too. He fits Dallas perfect. He would have been fit with us perfect too. But once the combine happened and his numbers, like when they showed the measurements, and like he was like 6'8",
9 without shoes and 6'10" width and like a 7'5" wingspan. I was like, oh yeah, he's not dropping to 24 anymore. Yeah, that's not happening. So I didn't even bother with that because I think people asked me about. I was like, yeah, don't even bother. He's not coming at 24. And look, he's top 10 now.
There you have it, man.
I just have a question. Since while we're here, and you know the whole you kind of tiptoed around it, Alex, but I'm curious, like, what are your guys' thoughts on that hiring? Do you guys think that is a match that makes sense with them picking up names escaping, but the former head coach of
Dusty May?
Yeah, May. Yeah, you guys think that makes sense? You guys liking that? What are your thoughts? Do you think that he's NBA level ready? Because to me, it kind of felt like it came out of left field. Not saying that he probably can't handle it. I just didn't see him as one of the candidates to be a NBA coach, not yet. So you guys think that's a good combo between Dallas and him?
I remember the name being floated around a little bit even before Michigan won the national championship, just because of his acumen from like an X's and O's standpoint. Of course, the big buzzword you're going to hear with Dusty May is player development. And you know, if you're going to go to a young team where the flagship player, whatever, no pun intended, but Cooper Flag, but you're gonna want somebody. You're gonna want somebody who, of course, can develop, and you're gonna add young talent to that roster. I'm always a little bit curious, to be honest, how this is gonna work out, because we've seen some instances in the recent future. Of course, you have your Brad Stevens of the world. But John Beilein didn't work out so great when he left Michigan and he came to Cleveland. Billy Donovan was kind of out on him. Of course, he landed in a great situation with OKC, but with Chicago, it hasn't been great. I'm not going to put that all on him. Their front office and the way they run things isn't great. I don't think he's a bad coach. I certainly wouldn't sit here and say that he's a great coach either. But, Dusty May, he may, I think it's possible if he puts a good staff around him and they give him time, he could be really good. But I'm curious, what their timeline is like. They obviously have new management, a new front office in there as well. Like how long are they going to really give him to show that he's in the process of developing a winner? But from like a basketball acumen standpoint, everyone says he's really good. People also said that about Will Hardy, and I'm not, saying Will Hardy is a bad coach, but at some point the Utah Jazz have to win games, right?
Facts.
So, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, the guy has a solid resume and he's got parts of his toolkit that lead you to believe he could be a really solid coach, but making that transition to the NBA is huge, because most of the players, I mean, they're making twice your salary. It's not college. And I know college is different now with NIL and there's a lot of movement. So it's become more like a pro atmosphere, and less where you have control of certain variables. But I'm kind of on the fence, and I know that's not like a popular answer, but I think I'm sure he can draw up a nice game plan, but is he going to be able to teach and instill confidence and motivate grown adults? That remains to be seen.
So, I mean, coming out of college, he has a 70% winning record, right? That's between Florida Atlantic University, University of Michigan. He's got 190 wins. We're talking about 82 losses in total. So, like, I don't know, man. It's going from college to the professional, as Jeff said, it's just always, it's so dicey. Like, you could be somebody like Brad Stevens and just be like a mastermind, right? You could also be, as you talked about, what was you just said it was the former Cavs name who was like talking spicy and crazy.
Oh, Beilein, yeah.
Beilein, yeah. You could be like Beilein, man, and just be absolutely crazy. And you have Kevin Love be like, "Who are you, bro?" So, I mean, it can go left, right, center, anyway. You could be, it could be like middle, straight down the middle, like Billy Donovan, man. You have no idea. I think it's just, look, it's good for a young team. I think it just depends on the direction Dallas takes, because you still got some veterans in there. I mean, is Kyrie coming back? You got PJ Washington, you got Derek Lively there. I mean, if I were the Mavs, if I'm going to go with a young head coach, or not even necessarily a young head coach, but like spanking brand new NBA head coach, I probably want to have a situation just like OKC, where it's like the team is young enough and will listen enough. I feel like, and this is nothing against Kyrie or anything like that, but Kyrie's is an established veteran in the league. Like, he's a champion. He's won on high caliber teams before. He's played with LeBron. He's played with, guys like Kevin Durant, James Harden. Like, he's been around the league. And I feel like if you have to have some really good pull as a new head coach come from college to the NBA in order to get buy-in from him, because even though you got Cooper Flag, it's still Kyrie Irving, man. Like, that's the guy who's still there, who's still going to be the vet. So if you can connect with him and work through him to be that leader, since he is the point guard of the team, I think things will be fine. If you're going to have some friction there, I think you could easily see this going sideways real quick. And then for Dallas, if you're going to believe in Dusty, then you're going to have to probably move Kyrie and just go with a very fresh, young-looking team, which I think they should do anyway. I don't know what you're really going to get with Kyrie coming back, Cooper Flag going to year 2. You got PJ Washington, Derek White. Like, there's just so many question marks around Dallas. I mean, this is fine for them to take a gamble on a new coach entering the league, but if it was any other team, you couldn't do anything like this, man. You couldn't do something like this. It'd be a massive risk. Like, think about when Brad Stevens entered the league, right? Like, it was a ragtag team of Marcus Morris, Isaiah Thomas, like Al Horford. Like, those guys were just all assembled together. Like, what do they got to lose, man? You got nothing to lose with a roster like this. I think there's a lot more to lose with a roster like this when you got Kyrie, who, like I said, is an established veteran. I'm not even talking personality-wise. I'm just talking about, like, a guy who's established who has to command a lot of respect, who has played with, like, a lot of good coaches around the league. It's just not that easy that someone could just hop in there and change it, man. Not that easy. But there was another selection in the draft tonight. Braden Burries, hopefully I'm not butchering his name, someone please correct me if I am.
You said it right. You said it right.
Yeah, man. Swing and a hit for a home run. Let's go. Knocked out of the park. Frozen ropes. What, Chris, what you can tell me about this guy?
He's one of the best two-way guys in the draft. Like, he gives me kind of like Quentin Grimes vibes, like a little bit of upgraded version potentially. Like, he's really good. Struggled early in the season, but once Arizona started just dominating, he really picked up and played really good. So has a good shot, can shoot the ball, play a little defense. This is a good pick. This is where I had him in this range. Originally, if Dusty May didn't go to the head job at Dallas, I had him penciled in with Dallas, but once he got the job, I was like, all right, they're taking the Michigan guy. So from Milwaukee, this is a nice piece to help that rebuild. They had another pick coming up in a few picks, but this is a good pick, man. He's really good. Really came on late. Big part of that, Final Four run for Arizona. Really took his game to the next level once you got the Big 12 play and that. So it's a good pick for him. I like him. He has tremendous upside too, and he could guard and he could score. So this is a good piece for them to start off this rebuild.
Jeff, what do you say?
Yeah, honestly, Burry's probably one of my favorite guys in the draft. I just like his decision making. I think he's a little mature beyond his years. I love the potential combo with Ryan Rollins, a guy who I absolutely loved coming out of Toledo. I remember I did like a little bit of interview with one of the assistant coaches there. That was one of the guys I was a little bit ahead of the game on, and I'm glad to see he's like finally getting his shine. But Burry's, I think, fits really well with the young core now that Giannis is gone, that they're going to be trying to build there in in Milwaukee. I just feel like Burries is a guy that is going to make smart decisions on the court. Athleticism, not necessarily going to jump off the chart, but efficient shooter with room to grow. But I think he's a guy that's coachable. With enough upside that you take a swing on him here. And I think in a couple years, you could really benefit from it.
Okay. And since we're on the topic of the Bucks, and salute to Knicks Nation, thank you all for tuning for another KFTV live draft show, man. We're doing the NBA draft show tonight. With me up here is CK2K. We got Chris LeBron, and we got my guy Jeff Campbell up here. All of these guys are my guys, man. We're breaking it all down for you, so make sure to stay locked in. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We may take callers later, but we're just breaking things down. So if you do want to call in, you can start piling in, and we'll take some calls here and there. But look, There's a big trade that happened last night, fellas. Shams decided to tweet it at midnight. Did you say what?
Yeah, what trade? What are you talking about?
The one that you're the favorite one that I see that people like to be joking about. The Julius Randle trade to Brooklyn. That was your favorite trade, right? Nah, man, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo heading down to South Beach. Pat Riley catching another white whale, trying to go for a championship run. And look, let's break down this trade real quick and just recap all the details that happened. Hell of a trade for the Miami Heat. I think they gave up a lot of assets. I don't personally think it was a lot of great stuff, but we'll break it down anyway. So the Bucks are trading Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis, can't forget Bobby P, to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Yokochoinis, and for 3 first-round picks, including the 13 in this year. So that's coming up very soon. And then 1 pick swap and 1 second-rounder. CK, when you saw this, man, what did you think of this trade? Because I can tell you, I thought that this was, why not go for Jaylen Brown and 2 draft picks, man? I mean, to me, I'm just like, you got a lot of stuff, but I just think it's stuff.
You don't like it. You think it's just stuff. I honestly, I'm okay with the move. I'm okay with the move. First of all, what I thought is, I was surprised that there wasn't more options. When Shams was talking about it was down to those 2 teams throughout the entirety of the day before the trade even happened. I'm like, cool, and I get it because the whole East Coast and being close to Greece and all that fun stuff that he said. But I'm also thinking, I'm like, so there was no other teams that wanted to go a little bit harder to try and get Giannis. So I was a little not confused, but I was a little curious about that. But in this NBA, we're talking about a small market team, Alex. This is a small market team that, you could get Jaylen Brown and then, hopefully with those 2 picks, but they got way more assets here in this deal. And I feel like when you're moving a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's probably the best bet than going for Jaylen Brown. And we saw what happened with the Celtics with Jaylen Brown leading your team. Like, phenomenal player. I hate complimenting Celtics. We joke about that all the time on the play-by-play. But, he had a solid season. He was MVP worthy this year and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, what did it really equal to? You know what I mean? In today's NBA, you want depth. You want a bevy of talent, especially as a small market team, as well as draft assets to hopefully, try and go back the route of finding that guy to then develop into your own star in the future. Because that's just the way the cookie crumbles when you're a small market squad. So I kind of like that deal better than the superstar for superstar deal with Boston. I might be in the minority there. I'm not sure. I don't care. I think Miami got worse, so I love that part of the trade. But for Milwaukee, if I'm thinking of it as a small market team, I kind of like the deal. I think I like the fact that we got a lot of pieces that can turn and stuff. Because look at Kel'el Ware. He had a lot of good ups and downs. I'm not the biggest Tyler Hero fan. I'm not going to say anything happy about him. But, hey, he's back home, so there's that, I guess. But
get the montage ready.
Sure. We'll have fun with that. I don't care enough. But, I there's a lot of high upside with I'm not even going to try and butcher the point guard's name, but he had some good moments, and they think that they can do something there. But they have all kinds of options there with the guard for the Bucks. But, yeah, you got to look at it from just the perspective of a small market squad. You got to try and, there's no superstar saying, oh, man, I'm signing with Milwaukee Bucks this offseason. That's just not how it's going to be, as we've seen, and the reason why Giannis wanted to be out. So you got to try and get as much young talent, develop them, and hope that they can build a team that is, the Knicks showed, team first over superstar-driven league, So, I think that's that they're trying to route they're trying to take. So I liked it. I personally was okay with the deal.
I'm like, I just think it's a bunch of stuff, man. I think what they did was that they went to a garage sale and they saw a lot of things outside. And they're like, we don't really need all this stuff, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll barter with you. It's okay.
The fact that this trade rumor took as long as it took, that is all they were gonna get, though. They weren't. They weren't gonna get anything. It was what? But they said 13 months we were talking about this. So I'm not surprised that they ended up just coming away with just stuff. You know what I mean?
They should have traded him last year. They should have traded him last year when his 100%. Value was more, and they could have got a lot more. But they had to settle because it was like, all right, he's not happy here. We're just hovering around, just doing nothing. We got to do something, and they had to settle. They should have traded him last year, where his value was even more. They could have got a lot more, but
Probably got
you
more.
know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do like Casper Yaku Jonas, a lot.
go.
So I had him high, a few years back. So that is a piece that could be interesting at the Bucks. But yeah, they could have got more, but they just waited too long. But I get it too. That's Giannis is a special player. That's a once in a generation player, and as a business, you gotta hold on to that asset as long as possible. I get that, but they should have traded him last year on that note. But it is what it
Look,
is. I'm not.
They waited too long to trade him. I think you go after someone like Jaylen Brown, and then my thing is not that you keep Jaylen Brown. I think you get him and then you flip him, because to your guys' point, I don't think he was going to stay there, but I do think that when you look at what you're able to get for Giannis, and let's keep this in mind, Giannis gave destinations. This guy's a superstar. He essentially said, I want to go here or here. And the Bucks were like, you know what, man, you did a lot for us. We kind of fumbled the bag on this. We're going to appease you and send you to your 2 top destinations. And that's what they did. I think with Jaylen Brown, you have a little bit more control. This guy has 3 more years on his contract. Guy's been very durable, had an MVP type caliber season, NBA champ. So he's got that pedigree to him, just like Giannis. And I think you have a little bit more leverage into where he goes and what you get back in return for him. I think you could have added even more. Something I've been saying is I think like a team like Atlanta, I know there's Portland that's also intrigued in somebody like Jaylen Brown. And I think there's been rumors saying that Houston could be a team that's interested in Jaylen Brown as well. Like, I think you get enough draft capital and potential young player back from one of those teams and then made it a little bit more interesting. Instead, you get Tyler Hero, who I'm just like, you got G.I. Jane, that's cool. Kello Ware, maybe if he's on a, fine that, he could be, he showed up and downs. Like, they played him a lot in Miami. Like, he saw some flashes here and there. You could develop him, but you still got Miles Turner. You then get Jaime Hawkins, who's a good hustle player. And I know, Chris, you said you're high on Caspadas, but it's like you could be high on somebody, but we don't know what exactly they're going to be. And I feel like if you're going to be a young rebuilding team, you have a lot of stuff. Do I believe in all this stuff can actually translate into being competitive, especially with the new draft rules that are being into play? I don't know. I think there's like a high 20, low mid 30 type win type of team right now. And then you think about that they traded Dame and they just not even traded Dame. They didn't even trade Dame. They stretched his contract. So like, what are you working with over here, man? Yeah. I feel like you essentially sold low for somebody like Giannis. You got a lot of stuff. And I think the direction is just like outside of this year's draft getting the 13th pick, which they're up next or up now, I should say, to make a selection. Like, I just have no idea what the direction of this team is. And I feel like you made yourself a little bit more murkier than actually giving yourself like a solid launching pad than just getting more draft assets and clearing it up as much as possible.
Knicks in 5 is my big takeaway.
That's all I care about. There you go. There you go, Jeff.
Yeah. If they lose Norman Powell in free agency, they're going to have to do a lot of shopping and tweaking and figuring out how they're going to add some shooting to the roster. But
they're at the apron, I think. Like they're there. Like it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be
And
tight
I don't
get anywhere.
And I don't like the Bam and Giannis combo. You could throw as many photoshops at me as you want, bro. I do not like that combo. I'm so sorry.
I was looking at the starting 5. Yeah, you think even let's say if Norman Powell stays, Powell, who's probably your best perimeter scorer. Yeah. Then you got Davion Mitchell and you got Andrew Wiggins. If you talk, that's the most erratic 3-point shooting possible. I know the percentages look good, but it's like you're either hitting today or tomorrow. There's no consistency with that. I mean, for everybody, for Knicks Nation, man, we also have Evan Fournier. That man's got a good percentage, but we all know it was like either 1 for 10 or it was like 9 for like 12. Those were the nights. There was
he
nothing.
Still lacks size too, because Bam's gonna have to play the 5, and he's 6'8". So,
exactly.
So that's the thing is like we just saw a run where you need all physical players to win. Like it's a copycat league, and they just don't have enough size. They lost Khalil Ware, was the tallest guy, so they got to figure out how to, and you can't go cheap with center. We figured that out. You can't go cheap with center. The Lakers learned the hard way by getting DeAndre Ayton cheap because he was a buyout guy. You can't go cheap with centers. You got to get a nice, above average center to win in this league, and good for them for getting Giannis, but it's still the roster is still Very, very iffy.
And flawed.
It's just
Yep.
absolutely
Agreed.
iffy, man. It's not really shining, not really good. And speaking about shining, people, let's talk about our sponsor for tonight, GLD. People, Father's Day just passed, but hey, doesn't mean you can't still shop for fathers, all right? And look, while you're out there, you're probably thinking, what are you going to get? Sometimes, fathers, I'm somebody who says, hey, I don't know. I don't need anything, man. Don't go figure it out. I can't tell you what I. That's where you got to go to GLD. You get some quality, good looking jewelry from there at all price points. It makes it easy to shop. You got stuff at all price range, and it doesn't even matter the price range. It all still looks fire. So let's be honest. With that being impossible to buy for, that's why you got to go over to GLD. Because look, you could be like me, wear the same watch for like 15 years, or you can go get something that's fresh and hot right off the block, man. So over to GLD to go get the perfect gift. We've been rocking their pieces lately over here, and what stands out immediately is the quality. Like I said, you can feel the weight, the craftsmanship, the detail. Everything feels premium about it, whether it's a chain, bracelet, pendant, or watch. It's one of those things that instantly elevates your style without even trying too hard. And if you're a dad's a Knicks fan, like all of us here, GLD has officially licensed Knicks pieces as well. So you can go get something that's actually personal instead of another gift that just, gets shipped into the closet, into a drawer and just gets forgotten about. So look, GLD has jewelry that's great weight, great shine, comfortable to wear, and honestly looks even better in person than it does online. So just saying, with people with over 2 million customers and over 50,000 5-star reviews, worn by everybody from Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Malik Neighbors, ASAP Rocky, and plenty more. Why not go over to GLD and go purchase something for your fathers out there, right? Or your significant others. So best of all, every piece is backed by a lifetime guarantee. So if you're getting something, that's built to last based on their backing of it. So if you're looking for something for past Father's Day, or for just a gift for any men out there, even your significant others, all you got to do is just go over to GLD, okay? Go treat yourself while you're at it. And for a limited time offer, new customers get 40% off at gld.com using that promo code KFTV. That's right. That's 40% off for anything over at GLD by using that promo code KFTV. And after you purchase, let them know that Knicks Fan TV sent you. Shout out to GLD. Shout out to GLD. And we just had 2 more draft picks as we were chopping it up. Yaxel Lindenborg from Michigan goes over to the Golden State Warriors, and Adaya Mara goes over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then let's remember that pick was traded to the Thunder from the Clippers. Jeff, I'm going to start with you, man. What do you think about these 2 picks?
I like Yaxel a lot, man. I mean, I think there's like a lot of skill there. Obviously, both Chris and I follow the guys that know ceilings a ton. Seen some comparisons to Aaron Gordon in terms of like really high basketball IQ. I like the landing spot. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I mean, going to the Warriors, man, like I feel like a guy like this is gonna fit in really well. A lot of movement in the offense, so you have to understand how to move without the ball. You have to understand angles. You have to be able to pass. So I feel like this is really good for his development. So I personally love that pick.
All right, Chris, what say you?
Yaxel, yeah. If he was 21, we'd be talking about him in that like top 8 range. Like it's the age that I think scares some teams because he'll be 24 by the time the season starts. But if you're the Warriors and you're in win now mode, like you don't care about the age because you're trying to win now. So I always thought he would go to a team that's, playoff ready team, a veteran laden team that could just need a guy like him to come in and just he does a little bit of everything really well. Like he's not, what is that? I've been on an analogy to you, master of nothing, good at whatever that is. I gotta get better with those analogies, but he's that, like a little Swiss Army knife, not the big one, a little
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. All right, there it is. Yeah. Getting a little confused, but yeah, something like that. Like he could do a little bit of everything really well. Good passer, solid defender, has the size, 6'9", a 7-foot wingspan, all that stuff, So, but the thing was mostly like his age concern. That's what people are really, because like there's obviously a correlation of taking someone in the lottery that's 23, 24 years old. But for the Golden State Warriors, like I said, they don't care. They're trying to win now. He kind of fits what they want to do. He could learn from Draymond. Maybe not all the stuff from Draymond, but learn how to work in that pinch post and try to be that hub. Maybe he could be take over for Draymond. Once he finally retires. But yeah, good pick. Yeah, if he like I said, if he was 21, we'd be talking about him in the top 5 to 8 range. But this is a good spot for him.
Okay. All right. Anything about Ade Mara?
I mean,
He's big. He's a big boy.
but not just that. I mean, like I'll say this about him. I mean, like I do think the rim protector aspect and potential at the next level, um, in addition to his passing, like bigs, depending on where they land, are asked to do different things. I do feel like he's not a guy that I think is going to stand out in terms of the stat sheet, but in the way that Mitchell Robinson shines for the Knicks because he's an elite offensive rebounder. He's a very good rim protector, and he can defend in space. He's not terrible if you switch him out onto the perimeter. I feel like a guy like Mara can not do what Mitchell Robinson does, but can shine because he does a couple of things really well that are valued by NBA teams and the modern NBA. His free throw shooting has obviously got to improve, similar to Mitch, but he definitely has a role that he can play and make an impact in, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a little bit of a project though. But if you're OKC, you can kind of take that because I mean they took Thomas Sorba last year and he tore his ACL, so he'll be back this year and maybe he's the guy if especially if they lose Hardenstein, in this year. But he could just sit on a bench and just watch. But there's some things he needs to work on. And the conditioning is another thing because when you're that big, like it's hard. We saw with Wemby firsthand, like he's supposed to be in this tremendous shape, and he looked gassed a lot of times. So guys that big tend to it takes them a while for the conditioning to really come around. Like we see with like Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey too. Like guys that big, it's just you're just a monster. It's just hard to really move around. So some of that stuff he's gonna have to work on conditioning. A little bit of his footwork, but definitely intriguing prospect. And like I said, everyone's trying to get bigger and better. So they're going to take a chance on guys like this. Like 7'3" guys don't come around a lot. So you're kind of hoping in your system, you already got a 7'2" guy in Chet. You're hoping that you can kind of do the same thing with him and turn him into a good player. So I understand the pick, but it does he's just a little bit of a project, so it's going to take some time. He needs to work on some things, but if you believe in him in the next 3 to 4 years that he could be some, then you got some.
Hey, they're just adding to the center depth in OKC. Who knows? Maybe it's some Chet insurance after he got schooled by Wemby, man. We'll see what happens over there. We'll see what happens over there. But the Miami Heat have made a selection. Keep in mind, people, the 13th pick will be going till Milwaukee because of the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. The Heat, or the Bucks, however you want to call it, selected Nate Ament. Jeff, what do you know about Nate Ament?
This is a guy that Chris and I were talking about before we started the pod. He had like the highest variability in terms of where he could go. There were some mock drafts that had him like top 10. There were some that had him in the 20s, even, like 23, 24, potentially where the Knicks were picking. I mean, if you're the Bucks, you're in the position to take a chance on guy. I mean, Nate Ament is 6'10". I mean, he's got all the measurables. He's got the size you want in a prototypical NBA wing. I definitely think he's going to take some time, but there's obviously a lot of talent there. I don't know. I mean, like sometimes, it's tough because you remember how young these guys are when you watch them play. You don't want to overemphasize, lack of like really going for it and aggressiveness and then say, oh, well, that's what they're going to be because, he could develop. But I wanted to see a little bit more of that in the times where I saw him play. But he certainly has the opportunity to develop that. I like the pick. I don't love the pick. But he has all the measurables that you want in a young player in today's NBA.
Chris, you look hesitant. You're shaking your head, man. What's going on there?
He reminds me of Marvin Bagley, but a way worse version.
Oof.
Like like at least Marvin Bagley in college was like crazy efficient. Was like you can see why. Bagley was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like you could see like everything he does. But with Nate, like I covered Tennessee during the draft during the tournament. I did some stuff for the Center Hub and writing for Tennessee, and just going over. I don't know. Like I get the potential, and potential is always a scary thing because that could mean a lot of things. It could be you could be good in 7 years, or you could be good in 2 years. He's one of those guys I feel like is a year away from being a year away. And I feel like we're always going to wait. Oh, was that name meant pop? Like people are still waiting for Marvin Bagley to finally figure it out and be like a 20 and 10 guy. It's just, I don't know. He just really struggled just making basic shots, if that makes sense. Like it just felt like everything was a struggle. And I know the offense wasn't like Rick Barnes' offense aren't ideal to guys of his caliber, but because he was playing with some too big. So you got to understand the context too. But there was just times where I'm just like, I don't see it. Like, and beginning of the season, guys, he was in like the top 5 range. Like people were like, oh, he's in that big 3 to 4, and he just wasn't consistent enough, and just a lot of stretches of just bad basketball. He picked it up towards the end of the season, but I feel like he tries to be a 3, but he's in a 4 body. Like, and that's the problem with Matt Bagley in the NBA was like. He was trying. He was just a tweener, and like he's not. I feel like he's gonna have a tough time. He's gonna take some time to develop. But I don't know. I had him in like the late 20. I just did a mock draft today, and I had him like 28, 29 range. Like I would feel comfortable him there in that range. But if it pops, he could be some. But I don't know. I just don't see it happening right now. I think this is kind of a reach. But I don't know. I'm just not crazy about him.
Yeah, I tried to be nice. Chris was like, "Nah, man." Listen,
because I seeing him all year is so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating because you see the talent, and he just can't figure it out. He couldn't figure it out.
But I know why it's frustrating too, because obviously, we might have some fans that are watching this too that remember the Netflix documentary with Reebok and Shaq. This was one of the kids that was targeted for Reebok. They were trying to go after him hard when he was coming out of high school. So it shows you, as recent as a couple of years ago, this was a guy that was really thought of as like one of the premier talents in USA basketball at a young age. But, honestly, when I saw him on the court, I saw the height and I saw the length, but I just didn't see the production, the aggressiveness. Like there are just some guys in this draft, some guys you see on the court that they look and feel confident in what they're doing. Like you can tell they have the plan set in their mind. I get the ball in this spot, this is what I'm going to do. The defense plays me this way, this is what I'm going to do. And again, this kid is so young, so I can't kill him for not being like really great at this. But I just feel like, for a guy that is picked as high as he is right now, you'd want to see him a little bit more developed in this area. Like he's definitely is going to take some time.
All right. So from both of you, this is a project here, and I decided to pull up the Milwaukee Bucks depth chart because remember, people, I know some of you are saying that this is going to Miami, and funny enough, as I'm saying this, looking at Big Brother ESPN, they just changed the designation for Nate Ament going to Milwaukee. So let's look at this depth chart right now, going back to Milwaukee and having this discussion. You got Ryan Rollins at the point guard position, Tyler Hero at the shooting guard position, Jaime Jaquez at small forward, Kyle Kuzma, he's still there out as a power forward, and you got Miles Turner. And so I would presume, by the way that you guys are talking about him, he should be probably at the 4 position, like somewhere between there, 3-4 position. Kind of like, would you say he's a tweener? Would you guys say he's a tweener? All right. So somewhere around there, he's just a forward. So you're talking about he's either replacing Jaime Jaquez when he's taking a seat or Kyle Kuzma. Now, would you put him out there as like your second with the second unit to get some playing experience? Or is this a guy that really, really, really needs some time to get some experience?
I mean, man, I'd start him in the G League. I don't think it's. I No, but I don't think that's crazy, man. Honestly, like I know what
Yeah.
he's
I'm not
think
saying
he's
that's
G League.
crazy, but it's just like this
He's
team is
G
like
League
going to be
bound.
kind of like it's not even mid. It's
Yeah, he's G League bound. He needs to be in the G League. Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, like even because think about it too, like he could be the type of kid that you put him out on an NBA court. Remember, and listen, I don't want to make too much of this because most of the like prototypical wings are really slight in terms of their frame, and obviously they have to put on a lot of muscle and size. But this kid is really like rail skinny, and I just feel like let him develop at a lower level. Let him learn the game a little bit at low pressure stakes, because I do feel like on a certain extent you put this kid out and you're gonna tell him to guard what, Paul George, like and see him just get roasted. And what that does for his confidence, I don't know. You got to know the mental makeup. So like, is the kid gonna respond to that and be like, okay, like I'm good, I took my lumps, I'm gonna learn, or is he gonna internalize that? So it's a really tough call, but I would just let him play at really low stakes, watch him develop. The Bucks are in no rush. You know what I mean? Like they're in a position where, I mean, what are they realistically going to be fighting
Right.
for next year?
Yeah. My thing is,
viewership. That's what they're fighting for next year. Viewership.
yeah. My thing with him is if your weaknesses are you're not strong, you're not efficient, and you're not athletic, I don't know, man. That's three things that you kind of need to have success as a bigger player, as a wing. And those are the three things that he struggles with. So it's like he's gonna spend a lot of time in the G League. I don't care if we're trying to tank, he still needs to be in the G League and just or get better down there, because he's one of those players where he can if they're losing a lot, I think that can affect his game, affect him, and you don't really want that, especially if you're taking him in the lottery. So you want to protect your asset, put him in the G League, let him cook down there for most of the year, and then bring him up towards like baseball does, September call-ups, bring him up in the back end of the season, and when everyone's giving up or something, and then he let him play, get his confidence going. But yeah, he needs a lot of work.
CK, what are you doing, man? You putting this man with the second unit? I mean, you got technically right now, you got Usman Dang, you got Pete Nance back there behind Kyle Kuzma and Jaime Jaquez.
Dang, from a Nick rate.
Yeah. So that's why I was literally looking at the roster, and it's funny because I'm hearing what he should be doing. It sounds like from both Jeff and Chris LeBron, he probably has no business to be right into the rotation right away. But looking at the roster, fellas, he's gonna play. Like he's gonna get burned. Well, I mean, again, free agency is still on the way, so let me not get too ahead of myself. But I don't know, man. I think he's gonna get play. He's definitely gonna go back and forth for sure. But they don't have much choice.
Yeah, it's a nasty.
They don't really have. It's pretty bad.
Fellas,
Yeah,
I know you're saying you gotta
yeah,
send him to the G League, but this is a lottery player, so it's not like he's on a two-way. Like there's some money going to be invested into this guy, man.
I know. But if you're not ready,
he's getting searched. It's that
if you're not ready, you're not ready.
Third and fourth, that's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's what I hear what y'all saying.
Yeah, I get it, but he's not ready. So he's not ready to play NBA basketball at this moment. So just put him in the G League.
He's not ready, but we're gonna draft him at 13 anyway. It's all good, people.
Listen, Alex, there's a lot of bad front offices out there. Hey,
man, that's what I said. I mean, first of all, I gotta give a shout out to my guy Jeff Johnson over at KFS, man, because we were talking about this late last night or early this morning, however you want to call it, man, around midnight. Because I was like, as I said, like, how do you not trade, for Jaylen Brown? And where's his comment? Where's Jeff's comment? Let me just pull it up real quick, because shout out to Jeff Johnson once again, man. He said, sometimes the halal cart hits better than the prime rib, brother. And I was like,
Wow.
no doubt.
Wow.
I was like, no doubt.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
But my response is like, yo, no doubt. But the Heat offers more of a dirty water glizzy than than a halal cart to me, man. That's
crazy.
This is hey, man. I just gave you the start. I just gave you the starting five for the Milwaukee Bucks. How many wins is that team getting you? How many?
That's rough. But I don't know if they have their pick next year too. And next year's draft is like the opposite of this draft. It's not good. So like, I don't even know why they would be tanking. I don't know if they have their pick exactly, but next year's draft isn't as good. So it's gonna be a rough few years for Milwaukee. It's definitely trying times for them.
Let's see what the Milwaukee Bucks got next year for their
it.
draft capital.
I love all this.
For 2027. Here we go. 2020. Oh, you want to know where 2027 first round pick goes? Right now, New Orleans holds it for swap rights.
Oh, so yeah, that's that. Yeah. They're not gonna try to. They're so bad, but they can't be bad, and that's a hard. They're in rough shape. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, man. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at this roster again. Like, what do you build? Like, I mean, free agency still has to come through, as CK said. But I mean, fellas, like, they got 32 wins this year, 50 losses. They I mean, they were 11th. For them to even make the play-in, which the Miami Heat did, the Heat won 43 games, lost 39. The Bucks were right below them, 32 losses. What is this roster doing? Like, what are you doing with this roster? So I'm like, I get the whole need to like move off and jumpstart whatever, but are they even getting to 32 wins?
Yeah, no. They're not getting 32 wins now. No, it's bad. But they won a championship a few years back, so like it's like F them picks, right? So you
CK
can't handle.
In a market like Milwaukee, that's gonna buy you, a ton of leeway.
Yeah. But the sacrifices you have to make to win champion, I think they did a little bit too much sacrificing, a little too much. So, and that's why they're in the position they are now. And for the last 2 to 3 years, they've been in this position. Think about that. So, but they won the championship 4 or 5 years ago. So you fans will definitely take that. But it might be a while before they get even close. Yeah, it's gonna be tough because these next few drafts aren't that good. Like, they're not that good, so you're not going to get that potential game changer.
Next few drafts?
Oh, yeah, right. The next few draft cycles are definitely not like the last few draft cycles. Like, there's no like true blue chipper. There's like next year's draft. No, there's like Tyron Stokes, Damian Rippey, but there's a few. There's not like this draft where you like at the 8th pick you can get your starting point guard like Atlanta did. Like, it's not like that. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be tough for them.
And you got to think that if he traded this year's draft pick, it's not next year's. Then it's gonna be the year after that because he can't trade back-to-back first-round picks. So, oof.
Yeah.
Well, glad that ain't my team, man. My team.
I was gonna say we picked the right time to be out of the draft. Sweepstakes. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. And listen, I was a proponent of the picks are definitely. I was like, can they look concerned? But as I did more. Talking to more people like, yo, what's the draft layout the next few years? They're like, I think y'all traded the right picks to not have, in the right year. So it made me feel a little better about, hauling all those picks, because it's definitely not going to be as deep as it was the draft as the last few years. Because remember, also NIL is a big factor in this. A lot of this draft would have been even better, but a lot of I would say 4 to 5 guys who I thought maybe be first round went back to college to go get the bag. So we're going to see that more and more often, less underclassmen, go back to school. We saw a record amount. Like this is the lowest amount of underclassmen declaring for the draft. So we're going to see more of that. So the talent pool is just going to start trickling down because kids are going to stay in school because it's like, all right, 2nd round pick money, or do I get $8 million from Texas?
Right.
Fellas, we may have a chance to play for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, suit up, guys.
And shout out to hold on, because someone in the chat, chat's flying a little quick right now. Hold on, someone said that. Shout out to Daquan. They also said that in 2028 they also don't have rights to their first round pick. That is a pick swap held by Portland, so they'll have Miami's in 2028, right? But they also don't have right to their own.
It's crazy, bro.
Ups are crazy, man.
Like, I'm looking at this. They don't even have a 2029 draft pick. They will not have a 2029 draft pick. As of right now, they do not have one. As of right now, they do not have one. They have to trade for it. But as of right now, they do not have it. The draft capital, like, they're good for them. They got 3 first rounders out of this, a 2nd rounder and a pick swap. But this is, man. Absolutely brutal for the Milwaukee Bucks. held on to Giannis for a little too long. But you know what? Here's the thing, though, because they were in negotiation, trying to negotiate with the Knicks. Who knows what could have happened, man? If they made that trade earlier, if the Knicks was on the receiving end, we got blessed, stayed course with the roster that we had, and we won a championship. So, hey, thank you, Milwaukee Bucks, for being who you guys are. You saved us. You saved us,
really
and I
did.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate that. Thank you. You're the real MVP, as Kevin Durant would say. You're the real MVP. All right,
sure.
let's get back to what we got with this draft. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what selections were made. So with the Knicks Nation, thank you all for tuning in for another 2026 NBA draft here with KFTV. With me here are my guys, CK2K, Chris LeBron, and Jeff Campbell. Make sure that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. If you'd like to call in and give us some takes about the draft, feel free to do so. We do have the lines open. Let's keep it going, people. Let's keep it going. All right. So who was taken while we were talking? So we got Haynes Steinbach going to the Hornets from Washington. Dalen Swain from Texas going to Chicago. There you go. Jeff, any thoughts about any one of those two guys?
I like Steinbach just in terms of like his fit on the Hornets. Their bigs, I mean, off the top of my head, they have Kalkbrenner, who's, really not much in the way of athleticism or movement, but he's definitely a great rim protector. He's going to get lobs. Steinbach is definitely more skilled. I think he's like kind of like a high floor guy, so I like the way he mixes there. Swain is a slasher for sure. He's explosive. There's other areas of his skill set that have to improve, certainly shooting. I feel like recently guys out of Texas have been fairly solid. Of course, like Trey Johnson from last year. But these are definitely good picks. I think I do like Steinbeck just in terms of like Charlotte's definitely building something there. Like I don't love all of the parts of their roster. I don't love everything about them, but I definitely feel like within the next 2 to 3 years they're going to be a bit of a problem if guys keep developing in a certain trajectory. They're going to figure out how to win games, and they have guys that are, skilled enough to create their own shots, and if they figure out cohesiveness on the defensive end, like they could definitely be a problem. So I feel like they're adding guys that kind of fit an area of need for them, which is good in terms of team building. So I definitely like that pick for the Hornets.
Yeah, Steinbach is one of my favorite players in this class. Like he gives me Isaiah Hardenstein vibes. Just kind of plays very similar to him too. He's got the size, hands, can finish, great offensive rebounder. Just does a lot of good things like that. Good sets, good screens. Just a really good player. I think he's like I said, like Jeff said, he has a high floor. Like he's going to be a 10-year pro. Like I'm pretty sure he's going to be a 10-year pro. Like he just does a lot of good things. And with Dylan Swain's another guy. You know what's crazy? Every time Knicks fans get excited about a prospect that could be there at 24, their stock tends to rise up, and then they go a lot, earlier in the draft. That seems like it always happens every year, and like we might see a few guys that Knicks fans are very potentially be excited about go in these next few picks. So Swain was good. It's a good slasher. Definitely had more responsibility with the ball in his hand this year. Still had struggles with the 3-point shot, but he does a little bit of everything else really well. So that's definitely a good pick for Memphis. They need to get more wings, and that's solid for them.
And interesting for Bennett Sturts. The pick is being traded from Memphis to none other than the Oklahoma City Thunder. How can we allow this to happen, man? How can we allow OKC to continue to acquire more draft capital, more young players? This is what are we doing, man? What are we allowing over here? Come on, man.
So many picks. They have too many picks, actually. They have
They have so many picks. Aaron Wiggins is gone. He went off to Atlanta. They're like, yo, man, we're gonna keep. This is kind of the benefit to OKC right now with all those draft picks. They have time to just kind of like recycle all these new guys coming in. Be like, all right, we got our core here. Bring a new guy in. We'll work them up. Ship that guy out. And I mean, at the position they are right now, because you got AJ Mitchell. Like, you don't even need to rush any of these guys that you're drafting right now. They could take their time and then keep them on low value deals for a couple of years. And the next thing you know, you got somebody coming through, coming up the system. And next thing you know, it's just constantly filling that back end talent that you need. But what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing giving OKC more capital? Why are we giving the rich more?
Yeah, and they needed a bucket getter at the point guard spot, because it was when the guy, everyone was hurt. Jalen was hurt. J-Dub was hurt for them, and they didn't have anyone else that could create or get a shot up. So Hurts is like, he's not going to be, he doesn't create the way like Shea does, obviously, but he could definitely, in the pick and roll spot, he could definitely shoot. He shot like 40% from three. So he's a great shooter. They definitely needed another guy like that, especially if you're not sure. They're gonna, like I said, guys are going to get traded. Guys are up for contracts. They can't pay everyone. They're another team that's not going to be going into the apron like that. So they got to find cheaper options. Yeah, they just moved Wiggins. A guy, a lot more guys are going to be gone. Like I said, Hardenstein might be. There's a lot of guys that might be gone from it, so they got to get cheaper options. And so Sturts is a good start for that.
Good God, man! I'm just aggravated, man, because it's like OKC just get. What are we doing?
They got 2 minutes. I think they got like 20 picks in the next to 2031, something absurd like that. They have an abundance of riches with their picks, so they can just do whatever they want. Like, if they really wanted to move up in the top 5, they could have moved at the top 5, but they just they don't want to pay that much, so they could have realistic do that. They can do a lot of stuff the next few drafts, but the rich get richer.
Sam Presti out here just wheeling and dealing in the dark. Everyone else here is just paying attention to other things. He's like, hold on one second, I'll take another draft pick. Like, how many picks do they even have right now, man? It's got to be like, what, 16? I don't even know. Like, well, let's see.
But the way this board's going for the Knicks, like, they're going to get a really good player.
They are. That's the thing. That's the thing that's shaping up right now. There's going to be at least 4 or 5 players potentially available at 24 if they stay there. Yeah. That could help right away.
Yeah, and it's
names.
Yeah,
I have some names in mind. I have Christian Anderson 14th on my board. Phylon is 12th on my board. Cameron Carr was, I think, 9th on my board. Jaden Quaidance, another guy with like tremendous upside as a center. Like, I think there's some teams that took him off their board because of the injury history. He has a massive injury history. Tore his ACL at Arizona State last year. Came to Kentucky this year. Only played 4 or 5 games. So, but the upside is he has just as much upside as the top 4 guys. But just the injuries are really scary. So, he's in my top. Obviously, Zuby's there. Parrish Reed's there. There's Cole Pete. The Knicks are going to get one of those guys. I'm pretty confident they're going to get one of those guys, unless I just jinxed it and they're all going to go consecutively, and then they'll just they'll punt out of the first round like they always do. Remember a few years back, the 11th pick, their guys didn't go and then they just absolutely punted. So that could happen, but I think they're going to get one of those guys. Abuko Okori too is another one. Like, he's a bucket. I thought he was going to go here actually. I thought they were going to take him over Sturts, but. They're obviously going to go a different direction, but yeah, there's a lot of good players.
What do you guys think about Zuby Ejiofor if the Knicks selected him from St. John's?
I mean, he's certainly solid. It's funny. I was gonna just add a little bit to what Chris was saying. In addition to the guys that he mentioned, obviously like Evans, Taurus Reed, Koa Pete. Even I know he's mocked a little bit later, maybe early second round, but Sergio De La Rea is somebody that has really good size, really good ball handler, 20 years old. Depending on what happens with Deuce, that's a guy that could be, super useful. And I would even, I know the second round is tomorrow, but somebody like, if we traded the 24th pick and we moved back into the second round, a guy that, I don't think he's necessarily going to move the needle, but was once really highly rated. Trevin Brazil out of Arkansas is a guy like I still feel like could have a really big impact for any team, but definitely the Knicks. His athleticism, even post ACL surgery, is like still out the roof. You put his talent in a really good locker room with a really good, strong culture. Like, I think, sky could be the limit for a guy like that. It just depends on the approach. Like, how do we want to approach this? Do we want to get somebody who's maybe a little bit older, that can help us right now? Do we want to take a chance? You know, they took a chance with Diawara, and I feel like that worked out really well. So I feel like they have a really good scouting team. They have a really good coaching staff. You can take a chance when you have, I feel like, a solid structure like that in place. So, but Zuby's great, man. I mean, like, I would be happy with Zuby. I don't love him. You know, obviously, I think the New York, the St. John's connection is great. I definitely think he would absolutely, you know, put on, go as hard as he possibly can. I don't think you'd have any issues with work ethic, no issues, you know, anything like that. But I'm probably looking more in terms of potential, you know, wherever we pick.
All right.
You're
I
all
get the
good.
whole looking for potential. As they should. I mean, at this point, like, especially with the cap for the Knicks right now, as we discussed earlier, like, you have no idea what's going to happen with Mitch. You have no idea what's going to happen with Shamit, Clarkson. I think McBride is a guy that could be intriguing with, like I said, the last year of his contract. So let's talk about the Knicks for a second. Let's take a little pivot from this draft talk. And let's talk about some Knicks offseason moves. With
The NBA
Mo,
champion Knicks?
the NBA champion Knicks, man, the
Okay.
2026 champs. All right.
Okay.
First and foremost, let me not salute you guys by your actual names. I got 1, 2, 3, 3 champs up here. So what up, champ? What up, champ? What up, champ? It's the proper way CK would want it to be said. So let's talk about it, man. Like, we saw that Mo potentially he's got a contract coming back. You know, coming back next year. Let me just make sure I get it right with what the details are for the people out there. So Mo Diawara is potentially coming back on the deal for 10 plus million to return for the New York Knicks. It'll be a multi-year deal. Still working out the frameworks of it, but it looks like for 10 million he should be back next year. I like that. I just like what Mo Diawara showed throughout the regular season in his limited minutes. I think for him, he showed so much potential as a guy that can be a 3 or 4, the wingspan, the height. I liked what he showed off during Summer League, and he just was able to build on that during the regular season. I was hoping to see a little bit of it in the postseason. Didn't matter because we had enough. I thought he could be used for like some like game time, like spot minutes just for like the wingspan. Mike Brown didn't feel like that was necessary, but I do like his return. I feel like when you think about just having that wing factory, which I guess is another reason why Isaiah is being looked at from Duke. Like, you just want to make sure that you have a lot of guys that are capable or switchable defenders in today's NBA. And look, we got your 3 wings right now that are starting: Hart, Bridges, OG. You certainly want some depth afterwards beyond those guys, and especially moving forward, because you never know what could happen. But I do like the return of Mo. CK, what do you think about Mo coming back?
Oh, I love it. I also love that it was the first move made. I'm a big fan of that. I know it doesn't make a big difference, but I love that because it shows that there's a belief in this guy, because that was one of the big question mark, one of the big things. If we weren't talking about Tyler Kolek, we were talking about Mo. Every time something seemed like we were trying to figure it out before the 13-game win streak, we're like, Mo probably fit in pretty well right now. We need some depth. We need some wing depth. Why not put Mo in? Conversations always seem to center around Mo. I even loudly declared that I would have started Mo Diawara on this team. But the point I'm trying to make is that what we see is definitely something that the front office sees, something that Mike Brown sees, something that the team at the coaching staff sees in him, and I love that. It's great that we're in a place of contending and looking to repeat as champions, but also still focusing on developing talent. When we were able to get a guy like Mo Diawara, like Jeff said, a guy we took a chance on. This was not a marquee draft pick or anything like that. We took a chance on him, and he ended up shining in the little bits that we got from him and making a lot of fans in us. So the fact that he was the first move, especially when we heard the fun quote by the owner, Mr. Dolan, it just shows that there's a belief within the organization, and it's a multi-year deal as well. Supposed to be. I love it. I love it. You can never have enough wings, and now we're at a point where, as you just mentioned, the Knicks and Wing Factory and the entire brother, I just, it's just a gift that keeps on giving here in 2026, and I'm here for it. So yeah, I love the pickup. And again, for me, the highlight is I love that he was the first move we made because, like I said, there's belief there, and that's great.
Yeah, I would want to follow up on that to CK's point. I wonder if it is important that he was the first move when we think about there's Landry and there's Mitch out there, but Diawara is prioritized. I wonder what you guys think. Is that a factor of, well, the contract negotiations might be a little bit easier with Diawara versus some of the other guys based on what their earning potential is on the open market? But what I love about this is we're champions and we're in a position where a guy like Mo Diawara, who has clearly a great skill set, clearly great size, I'm sure is coveted in circles in the league. And he's a restricted free agent, so of course we can match whatever is offered. But I do feel like he's taking, at least what's been reported, a solid deal that benefits both us and player. And I love that seems to happen, right? When you're winning and you've proven yourself. And now this is a guy that's saying, not only am I learning, am I getting better in this locker room and this culture, but this is where I want to play my basketball for the next couple of years. It's going to be interesting once we learn the final details of the deal, whether it's a deal that was made via the non-bird rights, or if they had to use one of the exceptions. I think it was probably the non-bird rights, and it'll be a 4-year or 3-year deal worth 2 or 3 per year, which will help us out, in terms of all the second apron talk. But I love this, and I do love that it came before Mitch or Landry, and I want both those guys too. I love both those guys, but Mo Diawara is the type of guy that is a bridge to the next wave after what we have, right? We don't know how long our window is, right? Presumably it's 2 to 3 years. Whether a cat extension can get done this summer, we know Josh is going to have to be talked about either this year or next year. Then there's OG, then there's Macau. We don't know how long that's going to last. And at the end of the day, we've seen in previous champions like Boston, they've had to make tough decisions, trading away Jrue Holiday, trading away Porzingis, whatever cost-cutting moves they've had to do to minimize the financial impact. If you have young players waiting in the wings to take that next step, now you can extend your run at being a contender. And I feel like that's exactly what we did tying up Mo Diawara.
Any thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, no, they said everything I would say. Like, it's just, he betted himself too to sign just a 1-year deal instead of the standard 4-year deal. He betted himself, and it worked out because now he's going to be getting at least a couple mil per season, and still, by the time he's 23, 24 potentially, he could get another big time contract. So good for him. He's someone that was very intriguing for me last year, but I didn't see the offense. That's the thing. Like, I would talk to people and be like, it was like the defense is what's going to get him on the court. The offense needs work. And like you said, Summer League, you're like, hold up a second. He can shoot? Where did this come from? And so that has come a long way. So that's just intriguing on itself. The fact that the offense was there and he hit some shots this year, and you're just like, oh, like, and not just like against garbage time. It's like, actual real minutes. Yeah, critical minutes versus good defensive players, and he was figuring out. But that shows his IQ too. Like, he has a very high IQ for a guy. Like, and his slashing is good. Like, he does a lot of potential there. So to get him here, that's like, he's going to be playing a lot next year. So for them to prioritize him, I like you guys mentioned, like, that's a good thing, and I'm excited about his development because there could be something real there. And it seems like we do a really good job in the second round. So the second round picks, we should get more excited about the second round picks than the first round picks. The first round picks, I don't know what they're doing. that still frustrates me a little bit. But the second round picks is like, all right, I'm more confident in the second round
Funny.
pick than the first round pick. So we still wait for Pacome to develop. Like he has a better shot than Pacome already, and Pacome has a beautiful shot. They did the same thing with Kevin Knox and stuff. So like, I don't go down that area. It's still sickening to me, but his future's bright, and he's gonna be helping us a lot next year.
Well, if you're talking to Gamba, he did say that Pacome Dadier is Kevin Knox with dread. So that's what
It
he
really
said.
is, man. The shot looks pretty, just doesn't go in. So,
Yep.
Hey, man. Hey, there's some people. CP said on Kevin Locks. There you go.
Kevin Locks.
That is crazy work. There you go. Shout out to producer Gamba, man, who is producing the show tonight. And look, I think when you just go through what Mo Diawara has shown, and I saw it even during Summer League, just the willingness to drive and attack out in transition. And you see how he's able to attack the basket. Chris, you talked about just the 3-point shot making during critical minutes. I mean, even some of the Euro steps that he's demonstrated as well. There is potential there. And with the defense and the tenacity, and he just has an aggression about him, a measured aggression where it's not erratic. It's very I know where I'm confident in my skill set at this young age, where I can attack, and he's just shown that. So I'm very excited for that. But look, outside of Mo Diawara, we're happy that he's back, and the Knicks are in the process of getting that deal done. There is Mitchell Robinson, and we do, as I said, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson. We can go down the line right here. I think I think one of the most important guys on this team that you got to bring back is Mitchell Robinson, just because I know he didn't have necessarily the greatest finals, from as a whole. He had his moments, but I still think he's very important to what this team needs defensively, just based on how he's able to switch between guarding the perimeter, the paint. The rebounding is very critical for this team too, just because when Towns or Hart is on the bench, you still have another guy who in 20 minutes can get you double-digit rebounds. And then outside of that, I think he's improved even offensively to the extent where you're getting him the basketball in the low post. He's able to do something with it, even off of rebounds. He has some nice pivot moves around there. I think he could still expand on that. But I do think Mitchell Robinson is a guy that the Knicks should try to retain. It's going to be tough. You have Ian Begley talking about it's going to be tough to retain him, especially where you have Jim Dolan coming out here saying they don't want to go into the second apron. CK, where do you stand with the Mitchell Robinson stuff right now?
Priority, man. We're also hearing the rumors that some guys are going to try and renegotiate their contract and move the money around and stuff like that with Towns and other stuff. Again, not sure how true. It's all he says. We're in that time of the season, right? But to me, it's important, man. I don't care about the opinion by a lot of people saying that he could have done this, could have done that. We also have to remember that I still feel like he was really solid with the whole finger situation in the finals as well. He just brings a value off of the bench on all of the things that have nothing to do with scoring that I feel like gets so. Even by Knicks fans, that gets so overlooked, and why his importance to our championship run is vital, especially when we're looking to repeat. You know what I mean? So it's got to be one of those things where we got to try and figure out how to get it done. I'm already prepared. A lot of us should be prepared that we're probably going to lose some of these guys that we also fell in love with this season. The Clarkson love. There's even a world with Shamet. We don't know what's going to go on with Deuce, but. Priority number one, it needs to be somehow, some way, get Mitchell Robinson back in the Knicks jersey. And thank God there's a lot of smarter people working in that front office mathematically that can try and figure that out to keep us in that apron. But it's gonna be fun covering that. It'll be more fun making that post and that video talking about Mitchell Robinson re-signs with the Knicks. But it's priority number one.
Yeah,
What do you think, Jeff?
Brock Aller makes his money, man. This is how that's personally how I consider it. I mean, Mitch, think of how limited he is in terms of his overall skill set, but how important he is. He has two incredibly impactful defensive plays. I believe it's in game 2 where he has he alters Wemby's shot as he's trying to take the game winner. He has a big rebound in game 5. throughout the playoffs, he wasn't super impactful. Like I don't remember Mitch having a series like he had against Cleveland a couple of years ago, where he just dominated Evan Mobley and Jared Allen and just made them look just non-consequential. Like, but of course, part of that could be health. Part of that could be Cat really developed more defensively, and was on the court more as like a facilitator. But Mitch is still so important to what we do, man. I mean, he you can see it. Teams have to alter their game plan in terms of driving because, he's a really talented rim protector. Even if he doesn't get the rebound, the tips, like the kind of Tyson Chandler rebounds that you used to have back in the day where he would tip it back out. How many of those did we see during this playoff run? One thing that I feel like he's really developed better at is a screener. I mean, when he was young, he used to set terrible screens. His body positioning was god awful.
Yeah.
And he's really good at that now. And even when he gets the perimeter, even when he gets the ball in the perimeter and he's executing a DHO, like he's really confident in those situations. Like I'm not worried that he's going to lose the ball or someone's going to tip it out of his hands. He understands what he's doing, and he understands when he gets rid of that ball, he's got to either cut immediately or reposition, And I love his what's the word? I love his chemistry even with Jalen. Like I feel like he really understands when he sets a screen. Does Jalen want him to reestablish? Does he want him to flip it? Does he want him to go off? Like all of those things are just improvements along the margins that I feel like are really big, and have a big impact on our team and the way that we play. So this is, to me, like I said, Brock Aller makes his money trying to figure out how we can sign this guys. And like CK said, this is like priority number one for me.
Yeah, my gut says that he's not going to come back, and depending on the pick here, like if it's a Tarish Reed type big, if they take Tarish Reed at 24, that might tell me something because he fits like the Mitch type. Like Zuby, if they take Zuby, I don't think that would tell me a lot. But if they take Tarish Reed, that would tell me a lot. So that the pick in we're not too far away from 24. That might tell me a lot about the situation because of the similarities in like their game. So but just the like Dolan saying without the apron stuff, I don't know. Just my gut says he's not going to come back. But I mean, it doesn't mean I don't want him back. I would love him back. He's still an impactful player, but I could see a world where he's not back. And just my gut tells me that they're not going to bring him back. That someone's going to, give him a couple extra M's per year that needs a center. And they just saw what happened in the playoffs, like with centers and them being impactful players. So I could see a world where he's no longer here, which would be very sad because, we developed him. He's probably the longest tenured Knick, right? 2018. So. And he was second round pick too. We know how to develop second round picks. So, it would suck, but I can see a world where he's not there. And the 24th pick is going to tell me. I think it's going to tell me a little bit about how they feel about that.
Mitchell Robinson has been linked to the Los Angeles Lakers. He was also linked to the Chicago Bulls, but they got Nick Claxton, so maybe that throws that whole rumor or connection out the window since they got Claxton now. I think it's the Lakers. I think there's a world where Mitch does return. I don't know, something about Mitch. I think for him, he seems like a guy who's just very comfortable in where he is in life. I don't know. I know there's the opportunity to try to make more and go other places too. I think competing for a championship is also very important for him, just since he's seen the lows and knows what the lows are. I think he's got a good bond with the rest of the team. And I think something to also keep in mind is that he does go back and forth between New York and Tennessee, where he has like his house down in Tennessee. So closer to go from New York to Tennessee than, somewhere like LA to Tennessee. I don't know if he wants to do that. And for a guy who enjoys his trucks, I think he likes bringing it down there. I don't know. I think there's like some more side factors could be going on for the calculation if Mitchell Robinson stays around. I mean, all those are just soft factors. I think you do have to take those in consideration, even with somebody like Giannis, when you talk about traveling over to Greece and wanting to be on the East Coast, like that does play a factor into him. I mean, if you look at the two teams that he did choose, they are both East Coast teams, not interested in the West, where you could certainly say, hey, let me go play with Steph or go play with like KD, go to Houston, or hey, maybe San Antonio if they want to go add me next to Wemby. That could be like a dynamic too with those guys right there. And yet he chose two teams on the East Coast. So all I'm saying is that these soft factors are important. I think somebody like Mitch, that will play a factor. But to all what you guys said, like he offers a lot to this team. I know there's some frustration amongst the fan base with like Mitch's offensive game. You know, like I said earlier, like some will talk about how he necessarily didn't like feel like lived up to his own billing when it came to the postseason. But as Jeff talked about, he had those like big moments, you know, defending Wemby in game 2 to prevent like a mid-range jumper to like try to close it out. You talk about even how he was able to just bully him in game 5 and get that critical rebound. I mean, we can even go through the other series, man, just how impactful he was in Atlanta, Philly, Cleveland. Like, was this the most dominant Mitch experience that we've had? No. Have we seen him be better? Absolutely. But I still think with what you got from him this postseason, you just see that you need a lot of center depth. And especially when, I'll even give him credit for this, like Towns was in foul trouble in game 5. And yeah, we saw Mike Brown cycle in Huck Porty as well. And we got some Solon minutes too throughout that series. But Midge got a lot of burn, man. And he does possess a problem for Wemby, who you see that with his frame, he's just off balance and can't muscle Mitch. And even when Wemby thought he was in Mitch's head, didn't affect him, man. Mitch was still able to do what he needed to do. So I would love to see the Knicks bring back Mitchell Robinson. I think he's so critical for what this Knicks team is. I would also like to see when they hang up the jerseys in the rafters, when they retire all these numbers for the chip. I'd like to see 23 up there too. I'm just saying, man. He's been here for a long time. I think it needs to retire too. He's seen a lot. He has absolutely seen a lot. And while you're at it, you can even throw up a banner for the trucks too. We could do that too. But look, we also got Landry Shamet, man. He was also impactful for this team. And that's another guy. That's a guy who I think is actually going to be gone. I think what he showed this postseason, somebody's going to say, that's my 7th guy coming off the bench. Bet. Let me go give him some money. Probably around the mid-level, right? Pay him $13 million. Gets a good contract. Shows that he could be a solid contributor in the postseason. I think he's the guy that would be gone, man. I think you're not keeping everybody. I think he is. CK, Jeff, Chris, anybody?
I mean, dude, I totally agree with you. It's so funny. Like, part of me, I know this sounds ridiculous. I feel like maybe like we're too close to it, but there's a pie in the sky part of me, like Nick's rose-colored glasses. That's like, listen, these guys are gonna take less. They want to stay with us. Like, it's a championship team. We're family. Leon Rose has built this. And I mean, like, Landry Shamet does kind of seem like that. I don't think I'm saying that, like, out of nowhere. At the end of the day, man, like, for a couple of years now, he's struggled to make it on non-guaranteed deals. He's fought through injuries. Like, he deserves a payday. And I'm sure there's going to be another team that's going to throw a 3 or 4 year deal worth, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure maybe 20, maybe 30, and we're probably priced out. I know the tax payer mid-level exception is like $6 million per year. I think, depending on who you follow, I think we have like anywhere from 10 million to 12 million below the second apron right now. So everybody can do math. I mean, it's going to be tight, man. And that's why I think the Knicks are most likely going to trade out of this 24 position, because everything is about cost saving, and how you can win along the margins. I could be wrong, right? But I mean, Alex, ultimately, like, I do agree with you. I think Landry's probably gone, like, shooting in this league. I mean, like, it's such a premium, right? Like, you have to have it. And he put on an absolute show in this postseason run. Like, what were the numbers at some point? He was like 19 of 21, 19 of 23 before he had like a little bit of a rough game against the Spurs early on in the series. But he's so great. He plays really good defense. He fights over screens, plays defense with his chest. We even saw in the finals he could handle a little bit. I remember some of those drives. I mean, like, you're not paying him to do that for like 20 or 30 minutes a night, but he played some point guard in college. He knows how to do it if he has to. But ultimately, like, he's a great culture guy in your locker room. Like, you can plug and play Landry Shamet in any basketball team anywhere in the world, and that guy is gonna do something good for you. So, unfortunately, this is probably his last year with us. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no room for him. So, but good for him. If he, like Jeff said, he's been fighting for a last roster. I mean, just think about it. He was the last guy on the roster this year. Remember,
Yep.
we were talking about between
Malcolm
him,
Brogdon
Ben.
retired.
Yeah. You know, Ben. We were talking about Ben Simmons. He's out here fishing now. You know, Brogdon's retired, and you know, it was going. People were going crazy. Over
Landry
the last roster
Shamet got
spot.
a ring before Ben Simmons. Look at that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, good for him if he gets an opportunity to get 10 per. You know, if he's getting 10 per, he's gone. It's just you've got to take that if you're him, especially with, like I said, all the non-guaranteed deals he's been able to get. Now he showed that he can be a good off the bench type of guy. So unfortunate. He was great culture guy. Like, I think he loves being here, but you know it's a business, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to come back. We don't got the money, and he'll go somewhere. And he'll get a nice chunk of change, and good for him because he deserves it.
Yeah, and that's why I hope he doesn't return in the most positive way possible, because he deserves the paycheck, because just his story alone that's been mentioned a few times here in this conversation, for him to be bounced around as much as he was, to turn into what he was for us the last 2 years, it's like selfishly in me, yeah, I would love for him to stay, but at the same time, like, I hope he gets a payday. But we talked about two teams that definitely need some depth. They might not be able to form because the aprons and whatnot. But yeah, Landry, I hope, selfishly, I hope there's a way we can figure it out. Maybe he buys into the trying to repeat, and he'll take less money for another season, and buys in on himself, and we'll see if that we can shake that. But yeah, for him, I hope that he ends up getting that payday, and hopefully it's to a team that we don't have to directly connect with in our run for repeating for the championship. But yeah, I would love for him to stay. But yeah, I'm with Chris LeBron. I think that he's going to get a payday, and it's going to be rightfully deserved.
And just a quick break in our Knicks talk. We will get right back to it. Here is the Thunder trade for that 16th pick for Bennett Sturts that occurred. The Thunder will receive the 16th pick. The Grizzlies receive the 2026 21st overall pick. So they'll be drafting right now, which is Detroit's pick. And the Grizzlies will also receive 5 future second-round picks while getting the 21st pick from Detroit. And Detroit will receive the 17th overall pick, which just occurred, and that was Ibuka Okori. So while we were discussing, there were some other draft picks that occurred after the 16th. Ibuka Okori, who was drafted by the Thunder, is going to Detroit. You have Christian Anderson Jr., who is going to Charlotte. Alan Graves going to the Toronto Raptors. And the San Antonio Crybabies got Jaden Quaintance. So shout out to the San Antonio Crybabies. But getting back to this Knicks talk. And actually, also, the Detroit Pistons just made a selection, or I should say the Grizzlies just made a selection with the Detroit pick. Kareem Lopez from Mexico has been selected, going to the Memphis Grizzlies. Getting back to the Knicks pick, the Knicks offseason talk, there is Jordan Clarkson, who I think, in a strange way, I think he could actually be a guy that somehow stays around, because in as much as like he had moments in the season, the man was benched for a good portion after that NBA Cup. So there could be a team, I should say, that's out there that says, we just need a guy who could be a ball handler and an instant bucket in small fashions. We can go sign Clarkson. Or Clarkson essentially just goes on another vet minimum deal, comes back to New York just because who else is taking him at this point of his career, based on what we saw this year in a Knicks uniform. Not trying to throw shade at Clarkson, but I'm just saying, like, usually guys go with players that showed a lot on tape. And while Clarkson had some good minutes, had some good minutes in the postseason, it's nothing what Shamet did throughout the entirety of this postseason run. I mean, the dude put the team on his back with Mikal Bridges in game 2 against San Antonio. So moments like that on the largest stage are certainly going to be more memorable than all the other like moments throughout the postseason getting up to that moment. So I think Clarkson, there's a world where he could be back. I would also not be surprised if he's gone either.
Yeah, Clarkson, it feels like a guy that's, he's more likely gone. But I what I respect about him most is this is a guy who's averaged 16 to 20 points a game in the league. He's six man contention for a lot of years, and he came in knowing that his role could either be, you could play 15, 20 minutes or you can DMPs. And for a guy who's used to playing a lot of minutes, that's a tough thing to adjust to, So the fact that he bought in and stayed ready, when his name was called, he had some moments, like I said, it wasn't like what Landry did, but still was effective. I give kudos to guys like that, because this might have saved his NBA career, because if he didn't buy in, he's already on the back end of his career. This could have been like, all right, that's it. You're not going to get calls anymore. But this can maybe give him an extra couple years in the league, because they're like, oh, this dude bought in. If we need an older vet to come in, he's perfect. So for him, this might have bought him another few years in his career. So you got to give the guy credit for that, for buying in. A lot of guys like to buy in, and he bought in. So I give Clarkson a lot of credit for that.
I'm going to agree with both of you guys. I think ultimately, I think Clarkson's probably not coming back, but I will say probably one of my favorite memories of him is at the end of the season. And again, this is a guy that was, there were other players on the roster favored in terms of the rotation over him post NBA Cup run. But I remember they interviewed him after, it was either the last game or the second to last game of the season. And a quote that stood out to me is he said, all 15 guys on this roster are ready. All 15 are ready to go. And, he's talking about himself. He's not getting a ton of burn. You don't hear a guy that's not, consistently in the rotation talk like that. But to me, it spoke of the culture in the locker room, and that's a Mike Brown thing. Mike Brown made sure that all of the guys were ready. He made sure that all of them had some level of buy-in into the offense or the defensive principles. And Clarkson, the big word with him, what did everybody say on NBA Twitter? He reinvented himself. He really applied himself defensively. What's he been known as, throughout his entire career? A bucket getter, a microwave scorer, somebody who could get you 20 in his sleep. And he, in one of our worst stretches of the season, was one of our best defenders. And I think sparked, some of our comebacks. So Jordan Clarkson obviously is not going to have an issue with finding another job. I would love for him to come back. Obviously, I would love for this whole roster to come back. But, the way the NBA goes, and even when you win, rosters and teams, they refresh. They move in and out, and they try and get different guys who can fit certain needs. So Clarkson's most likely going to be, on another NBA team, but man, he had a huge impact for us this year.
Yeah, thanks for everything that you gave the team this year. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add. I agree with every single thing that you guys said as far as him not coming back. I didn't have him on my list to return. I automatically assumed he was going to be one of the ones to go. I feel like the Knicks are probably going to look somewhere else where we could probably get a little bit more with the vet minimum contract. And I say that bluntly, but again, I say it with peace and love because, as Jeff just said perfectly, there was a lot of moments from this season that was definitely very helpful for sure. Jokes and memes aside about the Clarkson experience or whatnot. But Yeah, he was one of the first ones I feel like I don't think was going to return. But there's also in a weird way, there's a world where maybe because of that cheap contract, because that the running back mentality, you know, he might come back on that same vet minimum. So this very very possible because it's not like he's going to be a a real like money issue if we re-sign him. You know what I'm saying? So it's very possible. It's very possible. But I feel like in the grand scheme of a lot of things, a lot of factors in the grand scheme of, you know, Tyler Kolek getting an uptick in his role next year. What we talked about the start of this whole Knicks conversation with Diawara and the assumption that a lot of us have that he might be getting more minutes in the rotation possibly this coming season. Figuring out what's going on with Deuce and anybody else. I feel like in that shuffle there, you know, he could take a vetman somewhere else and be able to try to, like what Chris LeBron said, to try and even elevate his game even more, to extend his career even more elsewhere. But yeah, it'd be cool. You know what I mean? I Jeff said it perfect. I would love to just bring everyone back. Like this is 2K. You know what I mean? I'd love to hit that cheat code and, you know, that extra money cheat and be able to re-sign everybody. But yeah, he was very, very great for what we got from this season. But yeah, I don't know if he is returning with a lot of the things that we have to consider as mentioned just now. So we'll see. But I don't have him in my head as someone that might return.
And as we were talking, LeBaron Fillon Jr., selected from Alabama, is going to the Philadelphia 76ers with the 22nd pick. 2 more picks before the New York Knicks are up. Let's talk about Deuce McBride, fellas, and then get ready for this 24th pick. I feel like McBride is a guy that is going to be interesting going into that last year of his deal. It's a great deal. Thinking about just, you know, we talk about what OKC's doing, drafting guys, recycling, trying to get that cheap back-end talent. I think McBride is somebody that before he becomes a free agent, they're going to be looking to move off of him just to get the value for his contract and get something in return. With the way that the league is going, it's very rare that you see. I don't want to say very rare. Let me tailor that back. I think most teams are very cautious and just let a valuable player walk without getting anything in return. So I think for somebody like McBride, who I get he did struggle this postseason mightily against San Antonio, I still do believe that he has value out there. I think part of it was dealing with an injury, coming from that abdominal injury that he was with during the regular season. I feel like that's why he wasn't at his best. But when the guy gets into rhythm and he's able to play a lot of games, he is certainly a knockdown shooter, very reliable and dependable guy. I still think he holds a lot of value in. I would be shocked if the Knicks just let his contract run out and they don't try to move off of him and get some value in return.
Yeah, you go.
No, you don't talk at once, man.
I think you put it perfectly, Alex. Like good organizations, as much as emotionally it might be difficult, they make the move before you're forced to make the move. And if you think about what's on the horizon, cat extension, potential Josh Hart deal, not everybody can come along for the ride, you know. And Deuce, I don't care how much he struggled this postseason. This dude is money. The Philly closeout game was legendary. I mean, he hit 11 threes that night.
Yes.
Mother's Day, I believe it was. And he is a really, really good piece on any team. And I'm pretty sure every front office knows that. I don't think the Knicks will have any issue with getting good value in return for him. I hate the fact that we might lose him, but I think if you're going to make sure that you're continuing to progress the team as a contender in the right way, these are the tough decisions that you have to make. Like between Landry, between Mitch, between Deuce, that not all 3 of these players are going to come back, right? And we've already considered Jordan's most likely out the door. Landry's most likely out the door. So Deuce is a guy that you're going to try and get, some level of value back before he leaves you for nothing. And that's unfortunately what you have to do. The thing is, and I know Chris and I talked about this a little bit before we came on, you got to decide if you think Tyler Kolek, is he ready to take that spot? Is he going to be the guy that you think can step up and really take those backup 1 or 2 minutes? That's the other best part about Deuce. He can play multiple positions. He can guard multiple people. Tyler's not really there yet with the defense. But we definitely saw when he got burned, he clearly made an impact because his passing is clearly better than Deuce's. His defense is not, and his shooting is okay. It's definitely not as consistent as Deuce's, but when Tyler got burned, he definitely was able to show out, and he obviously played well in the NBA Cup run. So if you think Tyler's ready, you kind of have to make this educated risk of deciding, well, we have the guy that's ready in the wings. They signed Diawara, right? Conceivably for the same type of reason. Well, this is the guy that's going to be ready when we may have to move on from either Mikal or OG in a couple of years. Who knows, right? I'm not like trying to scare people, but these are just facts that sometimes come into play. So it's just an unfortunate part of the business, man. We may have seen the last of Deuce. I really hope that's not the case, but you just have to entertain the possibility.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
They might have a Deuce replacement too, potentially coming up.
Hey, we will see that, man. We'll see that.
Cameron Carr is falling. And
dude, that is crazy.
I had him. He's, I think, 11th on my board. Like the fact that he's falling this far. Like
Chris,
I didn't. I never
taken.
had this.
Yeah.
Christian Anderson. Yeah,
and Christian Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. Whenever I like someone,
you're right.
They go forward. Right. But Cameron Carr could potentially be there 24, and I like him the most.
Kind of insane.
So, yeah. So I'm saying we might have the replacement if it does happen.
Tough decisions are going to be made, man. Tough decisions are going to be made. And speaking about tough decisions, let's talk about Shopify, because people, when it comes to starting anything, whether it be a podcast, whether it be an online business, a brand, everything can feel overwhelming real fast. Because look, when you're starting anything, you're going to have those moments where you're like, should I do this? Should I do that? What if it doesn't work? What's going to happen? Am I just wasting my time? And let me tell you, can help simplify all those things. That is none other than Shopify. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. They make it ridiculously easy to get started with customizable templates so your store actually looks legit from day one. And what I like most about Shopify is their efficiency. With their built-in AI tools, they can help write product descriptions, clean up your site, even improve your product images. That way you're not stuck doing all the tedious stuff manually. On top of that, they help market your business. They give you email campaigns, social media, all in one place. So that way you can reach real customers and not worry if somebody's actually going to see this stuff. And then if you ever got a question, they got 24/7 support. So you can just trust them because they are lifesavers in that spot. So yeah, look, the what if moments never go away, but Shopify makes it easy so that way you continue to push through. So what do you got to do? Turn those what ifs into let's do. So shout out to Shopify. All right. Sign for the $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/KFTV. That's shopify.com/KFTV. Shout out to them.
Oh, they took
You said something. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. We were so close.
Of course, it's the Hawks too. Like, what?
There you go. Zuby goes. The St. John's product goes down to Atlanta.
It's always one pick away too. It's always. Oh, that's gut wrenching. That hurts.
But now we're here, people. We are here at the 24th pick.
Crazy.
As you just said, Zuby, the St. John's product is going down to Atlanta. What do the championship Knicks do? Look at that. They're throwing the confetti on ESPN, showing that we are the 2026 NBA champs with the 24th pick. Let's go, people. Let's see what the Knicks are going to do. They are on the clock. Will Leon Rose decide to trade out and get more assets so that way they can sign more guys, or will they actually find the replacement for somebody at the 24th pick. Let's see what we're doing as we see Knicks fans in the building showing off their jerseys. All right, they got 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go from here. Guys, I'm going to go with the draft experts. CK, obviously you can chime in too. Jeff, where are they going? What do we think?
They're trade. I mean, I think they're going to move back. I still think that there's a lot of talent out there. I mean, Chris is right with Carr. Like the fact that he's dropping, I'm very curious about why that is. But you have Isaiah Evans, you have Taurus Reed Jr., Sergio de la Rea, even a guy. I mean, like this is more of a second rounder, I guess. But like our Alex Caravan, even from Connecticut, is a winner, a really good shooter. But there's Koa Pete from Arizona. I mean, there's plenty that you can go there. To narrow it down, I mean, for me, I like De La Rea or Isaiah Evans. I don't love Evans is a little bit slow off the dribble for me, a little bit labored in terms of, when he has to put the ball on the floor. But I love his shooting form. I love the way he can get it off, very easily. I like the fact that, usually the Knicks will typically, at least one of their draft picks is going to be a guy that they worked out. Evans, I know, worked out with them for sure. I'm pretty sure, I think Taurus Reed did as well. I'm just checking my notes here real quick. No, Caravan, Isaiah Evans. I'm not 100% sure if Taurus Reed did as well. But, yeah, I personally like
trade. Jeff, I think you might be right.
They did the thing, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How far did they go back? Did we
propose trade? We didn't know yet.
One pick.
They do this all the time, though. If their guy,
listen, I think they might move back again. I just feel like why move back one pick? I don't know.
They do it all the time, though. If their guy isn't there at their pick, they're going to move back. They've done this religiously on the Leon. So Zuby was probably their guy.
2024.
They did it every year. They did it every year. Zuby was probably their guy.
I don't.
But they never trade up, though. That's the thing too.
I think they might move back again, but we'll see. There's still a lot of guys. I'm curious with who. Wait, so the Lakers are going to pick a 24?
It's the Lakers. So they move.
Yeah, so the Knicks, according to Shams Charania of ESPN, the Knicks are trading the 24th pick to the Los Angeles Lakers for the 25th pick. So the Lakers are choosing now. The Knicks will choose at 25. It would be minor dollar savings. So let's see if you guys are correct, if they're moving back right now. So we hold off a little bit. Knicks are going at 25 now. They let the Showtime Lakers take the 24th pick.
Yeah. They're probably taking the center here. They're probably going to take Taurus Reed or Sanak, the Lakers. Okay. That's probably why they're moving up a spot.
So if they take a center, that means would they be in the Mitchell Robinson race then, or would they be out of it?
I think they'll probably still be in it, because if it's like Sanak, he's a project guy, so they still probably want to establish big there with Luka and LeBron. So, but I'm pretty sure it's a center here for the Lakers, because that's.
Don't forget about the Kings' potential Mitchell Robinson suitors. That Scott Perry connection, man. They're very close. Scott Perry.
Man, we don't want. Let's not do that to Mitch, though. We don't want to do that to Mitch.
Please.
No, I
that's a good call.
I wouldn't want to see him go to that franchise either, but Scotty P, man, he loves that dude.
He does, yep. Tragic.
Well, they got to worry about keeping Austin Reeves first. That's the other thing. They keep.
Lakers. Sorry, it's like he on the Kings. What did I miss? Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
I heard they're gonna waive DeMar DeRozan too. I saw a report about that today, I think, as well.
Who knows what the Kings are doing, man?
They don't know.
They don't even know what they're doing. They just, they got a dartboard and they have just random ideas posted. They just throw a dart. Whatever happens, that's what they do.
Fired Mike Brown.
And the Lakers have selected Cameron Carr.
Wow. I mean,
Reeves is gone.
That's a nice pick, man.
I'm kidding.
Maybe the Knicks still get their big. Maybe the Knicks still get their big that they want.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Am I getting any
Playing the system?
notifications? No. Damn.
So how do we feel about Cameron Carr going to the Lakers? Chris, how you feeling?
I mean, he was a top 12 to 13 guy for me on my board.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Shouldn't have been down
he's
here.
yeah. I'm surprised he fell this far. Like he could shoot, he could play deep. He's a super athlete, like a extremely like high, level athlete. At the wingspan, everything you want. Like he's an ascending player. And maybe this, I'm just thinking maybe teams thinking this is like this season lied, like it wasn't real. So maybe that's why. That's the only reason. I can't think of any other factors. I mean, maybe they just didn't believe that this was, a real thing. So that's why he dropped. But he was really good at Baylor. Like he was him and Tunde Yusufe, and he was better. And Tunde was supposed to be a top 10 pick, but he wound up going back. He's at St. John's now. So I don't know. I don't know why he dropped, but he's having everything. I mean, you see the highlights. He's a tremendous athlete. Like he's just and he could shoot. I don't know why he dropped, but for the Lakers, that's really, really good value.
So now we got the Knicks
Do
coming
you
up.
think this does play a factor in the Reeves sweepstakes? You think this is any kind of connection at all?
Insurance policy? I think it's an insurance policy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I assume it was a big. I was 100% sure it was a big. But the fact that they took Cameron Carr, I think there may be some doubts that they'll be able to keep Reeves potentially. So they're trying to find a safety net in case that happens. So, and I don't think they thought he would fall this far too. So depending their board, they probably had him on the board way higher than the big, and they probably just like the value of Carr. He might, let's just say he's 13th on the board compared to Tarish Reed, who's in the 20s. They're probably like, you know what, the value of Carr is better than drafting a big right now, and we could still get a big later on in the second round. So maybe that's the case too, because I like some of the bigs in the second round a lot too. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Not sure, but that's good value here at 24.
Would you guys wanted the Knicks to select Carr?
I would have loved to. Yeah, that would have been great. We could use an athlete too. We could use some more. If we had to be nitpicky and be like, all right, something we need, some athleticism would have been ideal. Especially coming off the bench. And like I said, this kid can shoot too, play a little defense. Like I said, athletic. I would have been a good pick. I would have been really happy if that was the case. But maybe the Mitchell Robinson stuff is real. And like I said, this pick is gonna maybe tell us a lot. If it's Tarish Reed, I think that might tell me something. Like I mentioned before,
They passed on two guys in the near recent history that ended up being pretty solid. Like I forget whether it was 2024. Kaishan George was one of the picks that they kind of traded back. Ajay Mitchell, who ended up obviously being really good at OKC, was somebody that they traded back from as well. I mean, like they're clearly like they're bought into their process, so they're not worried. And I trust again their scouting department. I trust whoever they settle on. Like I trust them. But I'm with Chris. I mean, like I do think Carr is definitely going to be better than. Let's put it this way: when they do the redraft in the future, I'm pretty confident he's going to be at least 5 to 7 picks above this. Personal opinion
on that.
Real quick, just they're saying that there's a possibility Lakers might even move Carr.
Wow.
Yeah, Shams was just talking about it, and now they're reporting on it right now. Nothing confirmed. Obviously, he's a Laker now due to the trade, but there's a rumor that he possibly the Lakers could possibly move in that pick.
Wow.
That's what they're talking about right now. So that means for the Lakers.
So as we're waiting to see if the Knicks actually make a decision or decide to move back again, let's see what they do here. Man, I feel like to Chris's point for what he's been saying, hold on one second. Here we go. What is going on here? Shams Charania said Knicks received cash considerations from the Lakers for the 24th pick, Cameron Carr. All right, just adding more to the details there and what was added to the trade.
That's Leon's favorite draft pick, man. Cash considerations.
Yeah.
I need that jersey.
That's just straight direct deposit, baby. Just give them the account and the routing number, and we just get that straight in.
Right.
It was an expensive playoff run, so you need some money, man. You need some cash.
They're thinking about, yo, we got to pay some guys.
You
Can we
gotta
get some
pay for
cash
the
consideration?
bottom
Yeah.
piece to
They're
trade
showing- they're
somehow,
showing
you know?
them.
They're essentially saying, yo, Mitch, if you take 8, I'll give you all this cash consideration. All right.
Yeah. We'll consider it. We'll consider the rest of the cash.
Consider that your bonus on top of the bonus. Let's see what they're doing here, though.
Dude, the anticipation is kind of killing me. This is why I feel like
Right.
they're going to trade again. This is taking so long, man. Come
Right.
on.
What are we doing?
The pick is in, it says. The pick is in. So let's see what
God.
is going on here. By the way, just as a side topic, as we're waiting to see what the pick is, can we just move on from like the players wearing the team's hat that they're not going to? Like, why is
Just
Cameron
get
Carr got to be
it.
wearing it? Man, that's
Just
craziness.
We
We're
see
selected by the Lakers. Knicks had no business in choosing you.
real quick. Serious question, Chris and Jeff. Is there anybody French on this board?
Oh my
You know
God.
me,
Don't,
bro. There's not a French player on my board. There's not even a French.
Not your board. Oh no, Chris. I know not your. But is there a French player on the draft board?
Oh, trust
Okay.
me. Double check.
let me tell you something. Chris's only French player is Mo Diawara right now. That's
The
his
only
favorite
French I
guy.
accept. Only French man I accept.
Because that's what we love to do with it.
Chris
Yeah,
does not
they-
accept baguettes. He does not accept French fries. Says none of that stuff, man.
None of that, man. No, nothing that I know. I don't think there's anyone even with a French descent. They're not even from like a quarter French. They're
All right.
none of that.
No, not
Watch
even
the guy
French
they select
for
has a
World Cup.
French
Okay.
last name. He was from America.
Alright.
What are we talking about here, man? What's the pick? The pick is in, but why are we taking so long to get the pick?
Trade. This is why I'm saying, like, why it's got to be a trade. Why is this
It's gotta
taking
be
so
right.
long?
Yeah,
Reported trade was that on there before or
that was the car trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here comes Adam
Oh.
Silver walking to the podium
Oh, so they
with the
picked, huh?
selection.
It hasn't even been tweeted. This is going to be straight live.
Love it.
Y'all are going to know before me.
Damn it, Silver.
Oh,
And the selection is Sir. All right. So the pick is in. All right, man. Salute to Knicks Nation. Welcome back. The New York Knicks decided to trade back from the 24th pick with the Los Angeles Lakers and get to the 25th pick instead. They did give up Cameron Carr and some cash consideration in order to move back to the 25th pick. And the New York Knicks select with the 25th pick Sergio de la Herrera from Spain. He is the forward. So going through around the panel, man, let's start it off with Chris. What do you think about this selection?
Consistency, baby.
I mean, he's a project too. This is another project type of guy. You know, he could shoot a little bit. He's skillful. He's just, he's very young, very raw. I understand it. It feels like, this is like the Pacome, like they're taking an upside, a guy from overseas with upside. Maybe they just didn't feel comfortable with some of the bigs, Terrace Reed or something. Not super crazy about it, but I mean, he's been rumored to us. We worked him out. They've been talking about him a lot. I've heard about him in the last few draft cycles, but he's all right. I would have gone somewhere else, but I'm cool with it. I guess I'm cool with it.
Hey, Jeff, what do you think about this pick?
so I love it, man. Listen, I'm not going to be touting the guy crazy right now, but I just saw Steve Popper from Newsday tweeted that could be a stash overseas type deal, which fine, cool. But this is what I love about De La Rea. If you watch him, first off, like Chris said, he's young, right? He has really good size and very solid ball handling skills. I feel like a ball handler at 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", those guys don't grow on trees. Not super athletic, but if you watch him, his footwork and his craftiness is definitely next level in terms of where his development is right now. Like, you'll see him on the court, and you won't expect him to get certain places, but he will figure it out. He's the type of guy, I'm not comparing him to Jalen Brunson, but he has an element of Brunson's ability to kind of, fake you out and move and get into certain spaces that don't seem possible. And he shot this past season the three ball really well. I think it was like 37 or 39%. Not 100% on that, but he's also in the midst of, I think, playing for a EuroLeague title right now. So again, like we were talking earlier about like, what's your approach? You want a guy who can help you right now, or you take a chance? And I was kind of leaning a little bit more towards the go with the guy who has potential and take a chance because you have an established culture, and eventually you have to start building a bridge to the next generation of players after whatever this current run is. Sergio De La Rea, I mean, he's not like the perfect type for that, but I think he's very solid. I do like this pick a lot, man. I would love to see him play G League next year or something like that. But I think there's a decent amount to like with this.
CK, what are you thinking about this selection?
I have no idea who this guy is, so I loved everything Jeff was just giving me because just with our history, I got Rokas all over again. A young talent that they're going to keep an eye on, stash, and might never play in the Knicks jersey. Which if I don't know, but it's just funny because Chris said at the top we love to just go for something crazy with that first round pick, but tomorrow is going to be our Super Bowl. We're going to end up making a crazy pick with that second round pick. So I just love how we just stay on brand, So I love listening to Jeff. So hearing Jeff say all that, I'm like, okay, cool. There's some positives to take away from it. All right, I'll pay attention to it.
So with Sergio, based on for what Chris has talked about, and just some basic blurbs from what we got from the NBA man. Obviously, Jeff, you talked about he's a playmaker, capable shooter, and stuff of that nature. Obviously, doesn't have the athleticism, not a guy who's going to be driving paint. But I don't really look at his assets right now as to what he can give to the NBA or give to the Knicks, I should say, in general. What I do look at is that he is a draft and stash player. And what that says to me is that this team was not looking to put a lot of money on the books for the season, and they're going to try to do their best to actually retain a lot of these guys. So with the Mo Diawara contract that we already know for $10 million, I think this is a way just to try to work the books in order to keep guys like Mitchell Robinson, maybe try to get somebody like Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, or maybe who even knows? Do you even think about doing a somewhat of an extension for Deuce McBride? I'm not saying that's all possible, but at least from what I'm seeing based on this draft pick, this is what the front office is thinking, is that they want to try to keep and retain most of the guys that won the championship. And right now they don't need to add immediate talent, and they're going to be drafting and stashing once again like they did with Rokas. So that's what I'm thinking about this draft pick right now. Yeah. So that's what it all tells me.
Yeah, I think they're going to run it back essentially because this pick is not. He's not going to make an impact on this team for a year or two. He's definitely a project player. He needs a lot. His handle is super suspect too, so he's going to have to work on that. Especially in the NBA, you play guys like you play like guys like Castle get physical. He's going to have a tough time, but the upside is there. So this is pretty much just like let's just put him in. Let him stay overseas. Potentially for a year or two, and just let him continue to develop. And we'll like I said, this shows me that they're going to bring back guys. Like I said, this pick was going to show me a lot if they had gotten Tarish Reed with Mitch, but I think that this definitely changes my mind. I think before I said I don't think Mitch will come back. I think now the possibilities of him coming back are probably a lot higher than I just thought maybe an hour ago. So I think we might see a lot of guys potentially coming back.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a lot of guys coming back, and see that the chat is very active right now. Let's see what the people are saying right here. Did I see the captain himself in this? I know CP was tapping in. Did I see that, or was that earlier? I saw that definitely early in the show because, CP loves that we got that boot night, famous boot night from CK.
Legendary moment, CK. Legendary moment.
You're welcome. Yeah. Play the clip. No, I'm playing.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So there you have it, people. The Knicks get some cash consideration from the Lakers, and then they also get Sergio De La Rea. who is most likely going to be a draft and stash player. That is what we're getting.
I would probably be more mad if we didn't win the championship. Like if we didn't win the championship, I maybe be a little bit more irritated.
That's kind of crazy.
I would maybe be a little bit more irritated, but the fact that we won, I'm like, you know what? I'll let this one slide. I'll live with it. But if, like I said, we didn't win the championship, I'd probably be a little bit more irritated because there's a lot of guys I feel like can help the team right away, and I just think are better players. But
like this guy,
and as the captain,
see Terrace.
Well, I was waiting for Chris to see it. I was waiting for him to see it.
We're the world champions. We're the world champions. We're the world champions.
Right.
We're the world champions. We're the world champions.
Sandwich between Carr and
spamming that. Yeah, they took both the guys.
Yep.
We're the world champions, CK, Alex, and Jeff. We're the world champions.
That's it.
Hey, Terrace Reed Jr. going to the Denver Nuggets. Oh, man.
That's such a good pick. He's going to play with They're going to be bullying people down low. All right, we're world champions.
Look, Chris is sick right now. Look at him, man. He's sick. Can't handle it.
Yeah.
This is CK's book night for you. This is what it's telling me.
Yeah.
This is also, what's it? You know who it's this is also CP's Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann, yeah. Trey Man. Terrence is the big. Yeah. Oh, Terrace Reed. The both picks going in front and behind us.
Can't make it up, bro.
Can't make it up, man.
The Spurs are getting Terrace Reed Jr. Never mind.
That's great. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
They learned their lesson. They're like, hey, we lost the finals because we were not physical enough, and they got maybe the most physical big in the draft. He's a tank, 6'10", like 7'4" wingspan. And I always bring this up. I brought this up with CP on the last show. When remember UConn came back from 20 plus against Duke. In the first half, they kept feeding him, and he's the reason why they weren't down 40 in that game instead of being down 20 at the half. And he kept chipping away, and it gave them hope because they were down 40, they'd have lost that game. But the fact they only down like 20ish, he kept chipping away, and then he was a big reason why they came back. Just what he did on the boards, just being physical in the low post. That's why I thought, even if Mitch was there or not there, he would be just a great fit as a third.
Wait a minute. Denver is trading the pick. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, to San Antonio.
Now I'm even more upset.
Yeah. I thought they would take Zuby.
Now I'm even more upset. What are we doing over here, man? You know what? This is Denver saying we don't like you, New York. You keep. We used to own you. Now you own us. Now we got to go throw this to your foe right now. That's how I feel about this. Damn. Sick.
I'm curious what Minnesota's going to do.
What is Minnesota going to do at this point? Like, they traded Randall. They got IO back. Ant-Man wants to compete.
They're going to start Naz Reid at the power forward. They feel like it's addition over subtraction, which is I mean that whole situation with Randall is crazy, man. Honestly,
they're not taking on salaries, man. They're trying to dump salaries. Like you could just tell that's the move. They're not trying to be an apron team at all. Like even though the change in ownership was weird, how that all went down.
True,
so, like that whole thing is very, very like it started with Town. They traded Towns, and didn't really get much for him, and then I just flipped their asset, for Towns, in a salary dump. Like they're trying to reduce salary, and if you want to keep Ant-Man, this isn't ideal.
This is not what to do. Right.
This is not what to do. So, A-Rod and company,
Yeah, I mean, for the T-Wolves, they obviously lost the trade. You trade Karl Anthony Towns. Towns goes on to win a championship with the Knicks, and then next thing you know, you salary dump Randall to the Nets. Yeah. You signed IO. You got Naz Reid starting at the 4.
He gave Io a lot too, like a lot more than
He
he
gave him a
probably
lot.
should
I mean, he
have.
did ball out, man. He did ball out in the postseason. I
Yeah.
mean, unfortunately, he got a calf injury, so slowed him down that second round. But I don't know, there's very curious to see what the Wolves do, man. They're in a very precarious situation right now. You want to compete with Ant-Man. You just went to think about it, you went to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Then you went to the second round this year, flamed out due to injury. Where do you go moving forward? There's a lot of questions for Minnesota right now. A lot of questions. And then, all right. So now we got the Celtics who drafted Chris Sinek Jr. Chris is sick again.
We're the world champions. We're the world champions. We're the world champions.
They needed him too in Boston. That's
There
tragic.
I felt like it was him or Henry Vassir that was going to be the pick. It was definitely going to be a big like. He's a project though. Yeah, a lot of guys are dropping.
Isaiah Evans kind of dropping right now.
Maybe at 31. Maybe they're going to take a player they really like at 31.
He said he did say he liked the workout. He said, what was the quote? I forget. He was like, the mentality. He was like, I relate to the Knicks. I relate to the Knicks mentality. Something like that. I forget what
That's
it
what
was.
sold me. That's what
He
sold
fits.
Me.
He definitely fits. So maybe he's there at 31. But like, Pete's still there. Joshua Jefferson to me is like a bigger version.
Yeah,
to me, he's a bigger version of Josh Hart. Like he's a 6'8" Josh Hart.
But Pete drop too is crazy. Pete is nothing.
He can't shoot because he changed his whole. I was talking with Albert Gim of No Ceilings on the draft show we did a few days ago, and he was like, the timing of all his shot mechanics changes was like the worst timing. He did it during the draft process, and teams got like scared. Like this is why he's dropping. That could be a guy at 31 too. Like we might get. It might be like a couple years ago where like. We took Bacombe early, but like the better picks were in the second round. I think this might be the same scenario where I'm going to be a lot happy at 31 and 55 than I am at 25, you know? So maybe that's the case because they could get some, there's still good. There's good players still available. Like Richie Saunders is another guy I talked about. Like he didn't tear his ACL. He would probably have been a first round pick. He's an older guy, but to me, he fits what we like too. He's a movement shooter, can shoot the three really well. Like he was a big part of BYU before he got hurt. They were rolling. And when he got hurt, they kind of slid. So I like him a lot too. Like Brian Conwell's another one. So there's still some good players you can get at 31, but you know.
You guys remember that was the same thing with Devin Vassell. I forget, it was like the week before he got drafted. There was that video of his shot form. It was like crazy wild. Yeah. And I don't think it affected him. Like I think he was still a lottery pick, but I remember.
He was still Lotto, yeah. He won 12.
Same thing with Halbert. Halbert had a crazy shot mechanic too that people were worried about as well.
Yeah, but it went in. That's the thing. He shot like 41% from three at Iowa State, but people were so worried about the hitch and like, oh, is he going to be able to shoot that off the dribble or off the catch or anything or one-on-one? And I don't know. We saw firsthand what he could do. So like, he's learned. He worked it well in the league. So to me, I'm more worried about does it go in consistently more than the mechanics. Like
I agree.
We fall in love with how it looks. Like mentioned, we go back to Kevin Knox. He has one of the prettiest forms I've seen. Like that's how you would teach, any kid 6'8", you would teach that, but he just didn't have the confidence, to shoot it enough, or it just didn't go in enough. So like, Well,
there's only 3 more draft picks to end the first round today with Minnesota on the clock. Let's see here.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Stupid.
So let's see. All right. That is right. This is actually going to the Brooklyn Nets because of that Julius Randle.
Oh, right.
So
right. This isn't the Nets.
Yeah, so this was a salary dump once again. So the Minnesota Timberwolves are actually not drafting Nets, who are selecting at 28. Let's remember the trade that happened around midnight. It was Julius Randle with the 28th pick going from Minnesota to Brooklyn. The Timberwolves did receive who is it? Mamadamu Guy, as well as the 2026 33rd overall pick, so a second round pick. And then the Bulls received Nick Claxton. So the Timberwolves won't be drafting until tomorrow. They'll be the third pick of tomorrow's second round draft. So right now it's the Nets that are technically on the clock. Very curious to see what they do here. with the 28th pick.
Just take upside, guys. If you're the Nets, you gotta hope that whoever you draft just is a hit. Like they just gotta just take chances. Like if you're the Nets, because the fact that the team in your own city just won a championship, then you got to figure out some things. So you just gotta swing for the fences and hope it works. Like, so
Well, you know what they can figure out, Chris? This is what they can do to solve all those problems. Move back to Jersey. All right, man. No one told. I mean, I know Jay-Z was like, Brooklyn, y'all move to Brooklyn. You can go back home, man. Go back. I hear there's an Izod Arena with your name on it.
Izod. Is it even Izod anymore?
Probably not.
Man,
I don't know.
I
Man.
was gonna say Prudential Center. I forgot he even went to Izod.
That's Newark. That's a Newark. Oh. Yeah. Izod was.
I don't even know what it is, man. I'm just saying.
The mall's there now.
Go back.
The mall's there. There's not even Izod. I don't even think
Dream?
it's an Izod. Yeah, I think American Dream took that spot.
Yeah.
Wow. See how bad it is? We don't even remember. That's how irrelevant it is.
Crazy.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
The only thing good about them being in like the good part was like you can get tickets for like $2 and like and just move up because there's no one going to the game. So if you want to go to Knicks Nets game, you just get $2 tickets and you could sit 10 rows up and feel like a superstar.
Hey man, you can still do that right now at the Barclays. You see how it just gets infiltrated by Knicks fans? It's the cheaper home court. That's all it is. That's it. Thank you for the Nets to move into Brooklyn so that way we can get cheaper tickets. The home
of the Liberty. The home of the Liberty.
That is exactly right. It is the home of the Liberty. That is the actual main basketball team. The Nets just happen to be
an actual champion in that building.
Yeah, they're the tenant there. That's the
right.
Liberty own it.
Yeah.
You have Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle, who are the two best.
Same locker room. What is that?
Imagine if Cam Thomas was still there.
Oh my God!
Good. Moodiness on a billion, like unbelievable, like passive aggressiveness, like to the extreme.
Things are gonna get thrown around in that locker. Watch out.
Randall and Porter. Oh, we're gonna see. Shams just reported that there was an altercation at the Barclays Center.
Look, man.
This guy went at it.
I know for stats we talk about there's an average of around 100 possessions per game. You're probably taking somewhere closer to like 80 shots per game. You don't really get up to 100. We're going to see for the first time that 60 of those shots come from two players and the last 20 are from whoever else on the net. That's what's about to happen. Julius and MPJ are going to be competing for shots. That's what's going to be going on in that locker room. Good Lord. Nasty. But in all seriousness, man, like, look, Randall's a good player. I think he'll elevate the floor just to be competitive. How far we'll go, that team still needs a lot of work. They're drafting a lot of guys. They're going to be a very young team. I don't really see them doing much. But the floor will be raised. That's for sure. But they even win. How many wins did they even get this year? That's the better question.
What? Sorry,
I mean, that's all fair, but since we were talking about them, since I brought them up, 20 wins.
They started winning games late, I think, and that cost them. That cost them in the lot because they were like the third. They had the third best odds, and they dropped 3 spots again. I think last year it happened too. They dropped 3 spots. So, and then they didn't take the A cuff dish. So we don't got to worry about that.
Well, the pick is in. The Brooklyn Nets, even though it's under the guise of the Minnesota Timberwolves, have selected Joshua Jefferson from Iowa State.
No, Chris likes that.
Yeah, he's like a bigger Josh Hart. He's a 6'8" version of Josh Hart. He's going to do the same stuff. He's going to crash the boards. He's going to play defense. He's going to be relentless. That's a good pick for them. He actually would have fit Minnesota perfect too with Randall out.
Just need another body to crash the boards.
Yeah, he does that. He's really good at that stuff.
All right. 2 more picks for this first round of the first night of the 2026 NBA draft. Let's see who the Cleveland Cavaliers select with the 29th pick. Should be interesting. And then the Dallas Mavericks will round things out with the 30th pick of tonight. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning for another 2026 NBA Draft KFTV edition. Hit that thumbs up button for your subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. With me up here, we got CK2K, Chris LeBron, and Jeff Campbell. We are breaking things down. We've talked Knicks. We've talked off-season moves for the Knicks. We've talked about their draft pick. We've talked about the Giannis trade, talked about the Randall trade. I mean, with the Celtics selecting, we'll get into that topic in a second. But hey, let's salute one of our other sponsors, people, and that is none other than Harry's. Harry's has been doing some great work, man. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to go support Harry's, because let me tell you, people, but something about Harry's when it comes to coming through with a close shave as the well, I can't say that for Randall because it's not close shave. You're back in New York, but on the Brooklyn side after seemed like Kendra was very happy to get out and go to not a close shave anymore. So look, when we're talking about Harry's, right? I've tried pretty much every razor under the sun. A lot of stuff from over-the-counter stores, and look, they all dull too fast. Some irritate your skin, some are overpriced for no reason. You get the drift. Then I switched to Harry's. Not just any Harry's, Harry's Plus. And honestly, this is the best shaving experience I've had. Right away, you notice the weighted metal handle because it's solid, it's balanced, it feels like something's actually that's built well. The blades are German engineered, each one honed at three angles, so it cuts clean without tugging, pulling, and leaving nicks. And the pivoting system, it just works to perfection. It gets around the jawline, under the chin, all the tricky spots without clogging like those drugstore blades. Plus, Harry's owns their own blade factory. There's no middleman involved, no markup, so it's coming straight from the distributor, and it's all affordable, and it still feels premium. So right now, what you can do is you can go get Harry's Plus trial set for only $10. That's a new razor, a 5-blade cartridge, shave gel, and a travel cover for $10. All you got to do is go to harrys.com/KFTV to claim yours. That's harrys.com/KFTV. So look sharp, feel sharp. You're going to like this one. Shout out to Harry's. All right. Let's talk about the Celtics for a second, man, because I got to get you guys' opinion. Because, look, we're talking about guys like, talk about the Giannis trade. We talk about the potential of the Celtics, what they're going to do with Jaylen Brown now, just because, look, when you're looking at the East and you're thinking about the Knicks competing, all of this is relevant. There's a lot of moving pieces. Even though the Knicks won, could have a very good chance of repeating next year, you still got to look at how the league is moving, see what your competition is. And now the Knicks are once again the hunted, right? Every time you level up, they want, teams want to come through Madison Square Garden, try to prove themselves. Now they're going to want to prove themselves at a higher level, because now you got to think about, hey, this is Knicks play. How do we construct a roster to stop the Knicks? And one team that has been very competitive that we broke, the Boston Celtics, they're now in a very precarious situation where they tried to trade Jaylen Brown, as we discussed earlier, for Giannis Antetokounmpo. They only included 2 unprotected first-round picks. It seemed like the Bucks wanted more than just that. They didn't want to go star for star. Celtics weren't willing to do that. They didn't want to trade Shireman. They didn't want to trade Hugo. They wanted to keep those guys. Now you're at the point where Jaylen Brown, who's made some comments after they were beaten in a 7-game series about the Philadelphia Sixers, saying this is one of his favorite seasons. That being because he got to lead the team, be the guy, whatever you want to infer. Now being dangled out in trade talks yet again, because let's not forget he was dangled out in trade talks for Kevin Durant not too long ago. The speculation is he could be on the move. I mean, the Celtics are still taking calls. They're still listening to offers. After Jaylen Brown's comments, CK, I'm going to start with you. Is this guy out of there, or are the Celtics keeping him?
Jaylen Brown gives me the impression of somebody that's gonna act like he's upset about it, but then if they end up not moving him, he's just gonna move forward and play. So that's why I have a hard time answering this question, because in theory, I don't know how there's any kind of relationship, because this is not the first time that they tried to ship him off. This is the second time, because they were trying to get Kevin Durant. It was open that he was a part of that deal. Didn't happen. He ends up going to Houston. So it to me, just in theory, I have no idea how there is any type of relationship. Shams went on TV today saying that he is still has a good rapport with the front office in Boston, which I find crazy. We also did hear that Boston is also listening to offers for Brown. So uh, if I were a betting man, I think that there is. I don't think he goes anywhere personally. And I feel like we're gonna have a Giannis situation all over again, where it's gonna be that conversation of Jaylen Brown. Is he gonna get traded? Because we also have to remember that John Morant is on the market right now as well. So there's teams that are gonna be inquiring on that possibility. So I'm sure Jaylen Brown will see, because the problem with Brown is that contract is nasty, and we talk about aprons all stream long. So now, what team is going to take that gamble on, yeah, we get an MVP caliber, but like also like, are you going to get him right now and then instantly be in the championship? I don't have teams in my head for that. So in theory, yeah, he should be gone because that relationship is just irreparable. But at the same time, I just don't know if it's just that simple. So I think we might be having ourselves a Giannis 2.0 kind of situation here, where there's going to be a little bit of discourse on will he be traded and when will it happen. But I don't think he gets moved by training camp. I think this draws out. That's how I see it.
Giannis 2.0 situation. Jeff, what do you think?
Yo, believe it or not, I'm completely in lockstep with CK. I feel like there's a lot of blustering and a lot of, the relationship is completely damaged, it's not repairable. I think the Celtics front office oftentimes gets a little bit too much credit as like one of the greatest in the league. I think they're good for sure, but like they certainly get more credit than we do. And I think the Knicks front office has proven that they're head and shoulders better. But besides that, I don't think Brad Stevens is going to make a move out of impulse. And right now, everybody and their mother knows that the Celtics are having issues with Jaylen Brown. What does that do? That damages your leverage in negotiations when you trade. So I feel like, also, what did the Celtics really need? Like when we watched the 76ers series, where did they get killed? Joel Embiid mauled them. They had no answer for him defensively. They decided to take 53s instead of trying to drive the ball or augment their game plan. They need help inside. Namus Keita is not a bad player, but he's not going to do it when you've had Al Horford and Porzingis there previously that have been able to provide some level of shooting and rim protection. So I think the Celtics are going to have just straight up front conversations with Jaylen Brown. I mean, listen, if there's some amazing deal for Brown, yeah, they would take it. But I don't think they're going to find it because teams are going to look to kind of squeeze them in this situation, knowing that the front office and the players having problems with each other's right now. So I think ultimately Brown does stay. He's a competitor. He's not going to be a guy that's like, well, I'm going to hold out. I'm not going to go to camp. I'm not going to play. He's going to play because he knows that this team is also really good and they are a contender. They're going to be in a playoff position. Tatum's going to be healthy. He's a year off the surgery. The Celtics front office, they will retool somehow. They're not going to go into training camp with this current roster in place. So I think it's going to be a lot said and there's going to be a lot of rumors, but I honestly believe when it's all said and done, Jaylen Brown ain't going anywhere.
Jaylen Brown isn't going anywhere. Is that what you believe too, Chris?
Yeah, because I think something would have happened today, if anything, with the trade. I think it's piggyback Jeff. Like they right now is probably not the best time to trade him because he's kind of like a negative asset with all the everything he's saying. So maybe they just want to keep him a little bit longer. Maybe the All-Star break potentially. Maybe that's another opportunity to see who else needs him. Oh yeah, I'm with the guys. Like I think he's gonna stay because I think something would have happened already, and we've heard something could have happened. He was gonna get traded for Giannis if they had accepted that deal. But at this point, I think they're gonna wait it out a little bit. But a lot A turmoil in Boston. Such a shame. Such a shame.
You love to see it. That's all I'll say.
love
You'll
to
love
see
to
it.
Tragic.
I love to
Tragic.
see it. World champions. We are world champions.
We are champions. That is right. Congratulations, champs. Congratulations, champs.
champs.
And with the last two picks, Cavs did select Alex. Where am I going? Alex Caravan, and then we got the Mavs with Koa Pait. So there
His
you
brother
go.
played in the NFL. His brother played in the NFL. He was a tackle for the
His
Saints.
dad played in the
Saints,
NFL.
yeah,
His mom played
My whole
sports.
line.
Got a lot of pedigree.
Yeah,
there.
I thought you were about to say his mom played in the NFL for a second. You're
No.
like,
Yeah.
everybody playing in the NFL.
The whole family, grandma, grandpa, great grandma.
Yeah, I heard the great grandma. She was a hell of a center, man. She was.
Yo,
hell
she
of a
had
good-
You ain't heard about the Pete
six older
family?
brothers. They were all D1 athletes. Like that's
Right.
a wild athletic family, man.
He's a bulldog. That's good value for them to get him with the last pick in the first round. You know, even with his mechanic flaws, shooting wise, you know, there's no pressure now. You know, and that means they could probably get rid of some of these bigs. You know, and you know, have a cheaper backup options. So good for him. You know, it sucks that but you know, that's still a good spot for him to go potentially.
Shout out to
The Knicks got that
Buddha.
first pick in the second round. This Isaiah Evans, Malik Thomas, the guys we thought about at 24 are there at 31. Like I said, I think I'm
Still
more excited
available.
about 31 than at 20 with the 25th pick they drafted. So you know, there's
Right
some good talent in the second round when they start off tomorrow night.
And look, for Evans, you think about it, like that contract is even more like favorable for the Knicks just because he's a second round pick at that point. So look, the Knicks have been doing a very good job with this. I mean, you even think about Chris. I know you brought up Pacome Dadier, but you even think about again Kolek in the second round and stuff like that. It's because they want these guys who they really like on better deals. And you see what they do. They just not even like a stash, but they just make these guys work and develop them, and then try to get them on favorable contracts. So let's see what happens tomorrow with the Knicks, who will lead off tomorrow, day 2 draft for the second round with the 31st pick. Very curious to see what they do there. Salute to Knicks Nation once again. Appreciate all of you for tuning in for another KFTV 2026 NBA draft. The Knicks, once again, traded back from the 24th pick to the 25th pick. They traded with the Los Angeles Lakers and got cash consideration as well in order to draft Sergio De La Rea. So that is who they go with. Draft and stash player most likely. And they'll go to the second round and decide who they want to go there and try to get them on a cheaper deal. Let's get to some super chats and let's get out of here. Mod, shout out to all the franchise channel members. Appreciate you for rocking with us for what is it? Damn, we've been out here for 3 hours, 3 hours. Shout out to all you. Shout out to all y'all. 3 hours actually. Shout out to all y'all for sticking with us for 3 hours through this draft show. Appreciate all of you. Let's get through these super chats. As I said, shout out to Michael Parker with the $5 super chat. Says Knicks Nation, hashtag the Run It Back Gang. Shout out to you. Shout out to Tiz with the $5 super chat for being number 1 in the comments for the live chat. That is, he says, analytically, we drafted AJ at number 1. Shout out to my fellow champs. You're hashtag back-to-back loading. Amen. There you go.
Hold on, alert. Chat saying there's a trade.
There's a trade.
Yeah, it's a chat saying right now. Trade.
There's a trade. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what this trade is. Hold on 1 second. According to Sham Sharania, the New York trade, the 25th pick, Sergio De La Rea to the Dallas Mavericks for number 30, Koa Pate, and 2 second-round picks. And then the Knicks traded Pate to the Phoenix Suns for 3.
So a lot of movement there.
For 3, I'm guessing 3 second-rounders in cash. So Knicks move out of the first round completely, pick up 3 seconds
again.
and cash. So let's before we get out of here.
Did it again. I told you. They told you if they don't like it.
Oh man, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in once again.
They hate the first
Good
round.
Lord.
They hate the first round. It's not
Hold on 1 second. We got to run this back now. Now we got to run this. All right, we got to run this back. Salute to Knicks Nation. The New York Knicks decided to not trade back once, but twice. Actually, more so thrice, to be correct.
Thrice.
The Knicks traded back from the 24th pick with the Lakers at the 25th pick. And what initially happened is that they got cash consideration from the Lakers and drafted Sergio De La Rea. They then drafted back with the Dallas Mavericks, traded for Koa Pate, and then they got out of that. And what they ended up getting was 3 second round picks. So they are out of the first round completely. They didn't even get a draft and stash. They said, forget all of this. We are not going to take anybody because we are prioritizing our cash with the roster that we have in hand. And we want to get some second rounders instead so that we have more flexible contracts. So what this tells me, guys, is that the Knicks are looking to, once again, focus on guys like Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, everybody else, even Deuce McBride, if you want to throw him in there, and that they want to really prioritize running it back with this crew, and they're trying to save as much money as possible and not go over the second apron. CK, what do you think about this?
I love it, man. It's what we predicted, right? We just weren't sure when it was gonna happen. I was gonna make a joke before we signed off, like to check your phones. So when we come back tomorrow, we're gonna find out that we have like 4 picks, and we actually have 4 picks in this second round. And also, I love that Chris LeBron said a great summary of Koa Pete to just find out that now you can like cut that up and talk about future Nick Koa Pete. Yeah, no, I like it. It's like you said, it's a good way to help figure out the money situation right now. If we draft these guys, develop while we focus on using the money that we're getting, these cash considerations, as well as sending it towards guys that we want to hopefully bring back to repeat this coming season. I think is great. And it's funny because it's like you make this move to get as many second round picks as we're about to have. You heard Jeff and Chris talk about for the last hour how many first rounders, lottery guys, border fringe lottery guys that are still available right now in the draft in this second round. So the second round is not a throwaway at that. And now we got 4 opportunities at that tomorrow. And who's to even say that we use all 4 of the picks? If I was a betting man, I would say I don't think we're going to use all 4 of them. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. We're still going to come up with some kind of talent at the cheap. So, just, the front office doing what the front office does. Shout out to Leon. Shout out to all those guys. Tomorrow's going to be fun. They just made the stream that much more interesting for us. So shout out to them.
They made the stream certainly that much more interesting. Chris, what do you think about all these?
Yeah, like I told you guys before, if Leon and company don't like who's at their pick, they're either going to move down or they're going to punt out of the first round. And what did they do again? Punt out of the first round, but they collected a bunch of seconds. Like I said, they probably value those seconds, who potentially could be there in the second round more than in the first round. Like I said, we're on a little bit of budget crunch, so like we could still get some serious talent in the second round at a way, way, way cheaper rate. Like, they did it last year. They've done it pretty much. I feels like every year they've done it. They've always moved down. So I liked it. I like it because, if they stay at 31, they can get a really good player that I think can help this year. And take maybe get a big later on in the second round. There's some bigs I like there, late second. So maybe that was their thinking. Like once Zuby went, maybe that was their guy. I feel like that was their guy. And once he was gone, they're probably like, all right, the next big after that just is way too far down. So let's just hunt out of this. Let's just try to accumulate more picks. And that's what they did. So that's a smart idea to collect, second round. We talked about before. They draft better in the second round than do in the first. Maybe they're just like, we trust whoever's in the second round, and we'll just go that way. So I don't mind that. I thought that the Sergio De La Rea pick was a little bit different. I wasn't really sure. But now it makes sense that they were just using that just to trade back down and, try to get more picks. So second round should be interesting tomorrow.
For sure. Second round should be interesting. Jeff, what do you think about this?
I'm going to keep it short. Shams is also reporting that this deal, we might get 5 seconds. I don't know if I'm reading this correctly. But I'm going to keep it short. I really would like, I would be very encouraged if the Knicks targeted Trevin Brazil, a guy I talked about a little bit earlier on this program. Again, just a guy with a lot of raw talent, a ton of like elite, like top 1% level athleticism. And I just feel like you put him in the mix, good, strong locker room, good culture. You could see some really good things from him. I definitely, as CK and Chris said, expect them to continue to trade back and not use. It's funny. I don't know that we even know that the seconds that they received are all for this draft. Like I
True.
don't. I
Or
wonder
spread
if
out.
they're for
Or spread
future
out.
drafts or if they are for tomorrow. I'll be curious what that is. Um, but I still like let's put it this way. If we had two picks tomorrow, if we only had two picks tomorrow, I would expect the Knicks to trade 31 and either out of the draft completely or just further back and maybe even only make the 55th pick that they have. Like I think that's where their mindset is. They're just going to cost cut, cost cut, cost cut, and focus on re-signing their guys. But if we do have picks tomorrow, Trevor Brazil is one of the guys I'd be really interested in, and to the extent that they can continue to cost cut so that we can potentially sign our guys that helped us win a championship this year, that's what I want.
Great. Let's see what the Knicks do tomorrow, man. Let's see what they do with the second round picks. I think with CK, I agree that I don't see them using all of them. If they do, it would kind of be a throwback to when they selected like Grimes, McBride, all of that. So that way they can, keep as much flexibility as possible. So let's see what they do, man. Let's see what this team does tomorrow. Very big and interesting stuff that the Knicks did just before the close of the first night of the NBA draft. But are we actually surprised? Are we surprised that the Knicks just traded out of the first
I
round?
knew this was a scenario that could happen because a lot of people getting excited. We could get this guy, and I was like, understand, Leon has done this before. If one of his guys aren't there, he will just absolutely punt out of the first round. He if he could do it with the 11th pick, he could do it with the 24th pick. So I told people this could happen, and voila, it happened.
Voila, man. It absolutely happened. But hey, with all that said, let's get back to this and let's get out of here. All right. Shout out to Santana. D-Block says, Alex, your guy Fulius is back. LMAO. Shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He is back in New York. He absolutely is. In a black and white jersey and not on my. And I don't care because we are the champs. Shout out to Tiz once again with the $5 super chat. Says Leon trading that pick for 2 second rounds. That's his signature. Whoever we getting is out of the second round and we probably overlooked. Hey, shout out to Tiz for saying this way early in the show. At the beginning of the show. This is 10, 15 minutes in. Shout out to Tiz for foreseeing the future. Shout out to Big Migs Gaming with the $2 super chat. Says everybody enjoying the NBA Mama Draft. Good Lord. Shout out to Big Migs Gaming once again with the $5 super chat. Says shout out to CK for a crazy fun parade stream from that lady on the float. Good Lord. To the 90210 float. Great times was had. Appreciate you. Shout out to Big Migs Gaming again with the $2 super chat. Says some of these dudes need some chopped cheese ASAP. Shout out to Tuto Azori with the $5 super chat. Says salutes and respect to Kings of CK and all diehard Knicks fans across the pond. Greetings from our entire Italian national rugby team. Japan. Cheers, mate. Shout out to you, man, for being in Japan and checking in on the live stream. Also, shout out to anybody that plays rugby, man. Shout out to Minnesota Timber Puppies with the $2 super chat. Says, love the Knicks and the fans. Can you pray for mine? Seems like he's a Timberwolves fan in the chat because he is upset with what is going on. He has no idea what's going on with. Hey, man. The bandwagon apparently is not full yet because we still got teams, fans jumping on the bandwagon and want to be part of Knicks Nation. So look at all you, man. Look how far we've come, people. Look how far we've come. We got other teams, fans trying to join our fanhood. This is craziness. This is craziness. We are not the poverty franchise. We are not. We have come from the great depths. We are champs. We have a competent front office. Brings a tear to my eye, man.
Trust the process.
No, that team is down in the dumps. They can't trust any process. That team.
Yeah,
They were saying that.
They cooked.
their number one pick is fishing now. Personal fisherman.
Shout out to you, Ben
That's
Simmons,
crazy.
for winning a championship somewhere in
He's
fishing.
really good at that. He loves that. He's engaged in that. You notice that, you know? He don't miss there.
Hey, buddy, what did you used to do before we were fishing? Played in the NBA. Really?
Yeah, it was a side gig. Side gig.
Side gig. What happened to you? Why'd you quit? Hey, man, I just didn't dunk on Trae Young.
Back hurt. My back hurt for a long time.
Shout out to Tiz once again with the $5 super chat. Says everybody is better than Pacome Dadier until it's time to be better than Pacome
All
Dadier.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
There's the
all right,
baguette and French fries in there.
Block him.
all right,
Block
all
him.
right, all right. Get him out. Get him
Get him
out
out
of
of
here.
here. Get him out of here. Pacoma is 4 years away from being 4 years away.
Oh, God.
Not even 1 year away. It's 4 years away.
Tell us how you truly feel, Chris. Tell us how you truly feel. Shout out to
man.
Avilo for becoming a franchise channel. I appreciate you. Shout out to Soma. Okay. Hey, yo, with that, Nick. We ain't reading that. Shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Says, so who we drafting to replace Mitch and Shaman? Well, gonna have to wait and find out tomorrow if that's even possible. I think we're trying to keep both. I'm not saying it's possible, but it seems like we're trying to keep at least one of them based on the moves that were made today by trading out of the first round. Shout out to Kingston Vibes with the $2 super chat. Says, has Leon ever had a good draft? Like ever? Yeah, he has. What?
Yes.
He has. What? You don't
Ban
just
him
got
too with the Daddy A fan. Yeah. What are we on, bro?
Hey man, I don't know what's going on here. Shout out to Tiz with this again to the $2 super chat. Says, so Sergio is a CAA client. Laughing my you know what off. Well, that CAA client was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So
He's not a member of the team, so who cares?
no more. Shout out to Kingston Vibes once again. Says with the $2 super chat. Says, if it's cost cut, why we have Pacome making $3 million?
I know.
Great question.
Get it for cash considerations. Can we do that? Can we trade it for cash considerations?
One of my favorite Knicks. One of my favorite Knicks.
Hey, you know what? CK, you should probably go get a Pacome Dadier jersey because if you were the president of a certain hive. He was wearing that jersey.
Who?
Mikal Bridges, you're gonna have to fight him for the jersey.
Oh, man. I was gonna say, ain't no way, shape, or form was I ever in a Pacome hive. Got it. Yeah. Shout out to Bridges. It's all right. He makes a few mistakes. That was one of them.
I think he was wearing that for De'Aaron Fox. Because De'Aaron Fox was number 4. I think that was kind of like a throwing shade without directly throwing shade. That's just my opinion.
I'm right there with you because Bridges is like that.
I can see that.
I see that.
Or is he just hyping up his guy Pacome Dadier?
It's tough stuff.
Let's keep reading the supers, Alex.
To subscribe with the $2 super chat. Says, I saw CK rocking a Pacome Dadier jersey. No.
All right, bro. All right. Oh,
Shout out to the $2 super chat. Says, check
That was
shop.
AI? I think that was AI, CK, right? That was AI?
Yeah.
31 will be moved.
Crazy.
I don't think 31 will be moved.
Yeah,
think
that's I was waiting for the confirmation, but yeah, 31 might be getting out of there.
You think 31's going to be out of there? Do you think they're going to trade further back?
That's what Bagley and
Knicks-
Shams are talking about there.
The Knicks just got 47th pick, 3 second rounds to the New York Knicks. The Knicks had the 47th, 31, and 55 tomorrow.
They got 3, yeah, according to Shams. So the Knicks have, as he said, the 31st, 47th, and 55th pick. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the selection.
And he also said that they already are receiving offers for pick 31. So between now and tomorrow, we might.
That looks like that might get moved. I think they're just going to accumulate second round picks for the next few years. I think that's the move.
Do you even think they draft somebody? Could this be a year like they just say
55.
nobody?
I think the late second round, try to do like a Mo Diarra. Yeah, do like a Mo Diarra thing, because it definitely seems like they're trying to not add too much salary, onto the books. So they're trying to just, get us further back and without going too further back and try to get someone, but they're definitely not trying to stay in the 30s or 40s. It looks like.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it, people. So there we go. We got day 1. The Knicks decided to move out of the first round completely. They now have 3 second-round picks going into tomorrow. They have the 31st, 47th, and 55th. In addition to that, they pick up 5 second-rounders and cash. So we'll see where the other second-round picks play out. Some are most likely in the future. If it's not for tomorrow, still in the process of seeing what the second round, where the second rounders will land. But they have 3 second round picks for tomorrow. Once again, it will be the 31st, 47th, and 55th. But as is being reported, they're taking, people are calling them right now for that 31st pick, since it's essentially an early extension of the first round. So we'll see what the Knicks do tomorrow. Appreciate everyone for tapping in. Kingston Vibes puts in another super chat, says, Pacome making more than late first rounders, right? You ain't wrong, man. You are not wrong on that. Shout out to Knicks Nation. Appreciate you all you for tapping in for another KFTV 2026 NBA Draft Show. Shout out to all the franchise channel members, man. I see Brightest Future in here. I see Armin Duda. I see Kepsteezy in here. Shout out to you. I know my guy. Who else we got in here? Shout out to the captain himself. CP's in here. Hang out with the fans. Says Knicks are trading. Where are you guys seeing that the Knicks are trading 31?
Yeah,
Well, it said they're receiving offers and it's likely to be dealt. It hasn't been dealt yet.
it hasn't happened yet. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's likely to be dealt. Okay, just want to make sure
They're trying to get future draft assets. I don't know if they're trying to get a 1 in return for the future or something like that. They're definitely trying to trade a 31 to get future picks.
Well, what's that CP reporting saying the Knicks are going to trade 31? We'll see what happens tomorrow. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Shout out to our guy John Talento. Shout out to HT54BX. Shout out to you. Shout out to Respect Shaq. Shout out to all the franchise channel members in here. Shout out to Norman Nation. We got Danica Baca in Virginia. Shout out to everyone, man, for tuning in for another KFTV 2026 NBA Draft Show. You know what to do. Look, if you can't tap in live, you can always catch these things, be part of the replay game. Just go to youtube.com/knicksfantv to catch these things. Part of the replay game if you can't catch it live. On top of that, you can go to any audio listening platform and catch a show if you weren't able to watch on YouTube. And let's say you're on the go, you can't just watch videos. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, all over the place. So you can make sure to tap in the shows over there as well. Make sure to support our sponsors. Make sure to support Harry's, Shopify, and GLD, all giving you some great quality products out there, right? So once again, if you're going over to GLD, you can get 40% off of anything you buy from the website if you use that promo code KFTV. Shout out to Harry's as well. If you go over to Harry's and you want a new blade, make sure to go over to harrys.com/KFTV to get your Harry's Plus trial set for $10. Also, once again, you can go over to Shopify if you're starting any business, right? If you're starting any business and you need just an e-commerce to help get your business up and running, you can go to shopify.com/KFTV for that $1 per month trial today. So make sure to go support our sponsors. On top of that, you should sign up for the newsletter. We got great rides over there. We got our guys here, Jeff Campbell. We got Chris LeBron. These guys contribute to the KFTV newsletter. They do a phenomenal job. So if you want more draft coverage, if Knicks coverage, make sure to sign up for the newsletter. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. And by supporting the newsletter, you are supporting us in a big way. We also got other fantastic writers over there as well. We got Joe. We got Remy. We got Jalen. I don't want to forget everybody, but anybody. I don't want to forget anybody, but we got a lot of talent over there just covering this team in so many fashions. So make sure to sign up for the newsletter if you have not already done so. On top of that, the newsletter is also great just to keep in contact and just to know what's going on with the channel, see our sponsors, and to get updates on watch parties and any other gathering. So make sure to download that as well. Or not download it, but go sign up. Shout out to everyone for donating a super chat. Shout out to all the mods once again. Shout out to producer Gamba. Shout out to CP. Shout out to Myra. Shout out to everybody working behind the scenes as always. And we'll catch you for tomorrow's show for the second round. So make sure to stay tapped in, locked in, hit that notification bell on YouTube if you haven't already done so already. So that way you are notified when we start. All right, everyone. We'll catch y'all later. We out.